Here we are, Matthew Russell Lee, Anthony Press, here at the 72 New York Courthouse. Today, Monday, June 30th, 2025. It's day 33 of U.S. versus Sean Combs, including the possible verdict today. I mean, deliberations will begin. Whether the verdict is today, we don't know. Jury instruction will be read by the judge. It wasn't put into the docket. It's kind of unfortunate. And then deliberations will begin, and at any time. And I'm assuming that there'll be some notes, and we'll be obviously live tweeting that. The notes that come out. Often then there's a negotiation of how to answer an oral question, legal question. And sometimes they'll ask for testimony and then they got to go and redact it. Hopefully they've done a lot of the groundwork for this because they're facing a deadline and we'll get to in a moment, as with the quote unquote, and I'm putting it in quotation marks, big, beautiful bill. There's a deadline. Now this deadline, whatever, July 4th is the holiday. So if the Diddy verdict jurors do not reach a verdict, they'll just have to be coming back on Monday. They could conceivably come in on Thursday, but I don't know. I don't know if we'll get that long. As to what's transition, actually, no, it's still yet more on the Diddy docket. We put up week 7, the book, closings to deliberations. It's actually the longest one so far because there were a lot of words last week. 2 long closings, and we covered them, and we also have some analysis and some other additional material. You'll find the book, Diddy on Trial, week 7, on Google Play for reasons that are explained in the book. Also that we covered, I think on Friday or Saturday, one of the many civil cases here against Diddy. There's also one in Outlet.
Okay, so everybody come on in. We are having a Diddy verdict watch. There's 80% possibility that we are going to get a verdict today because in a lot of cases, people just, all right, we're ready to get up out of here because right now the jury, if they're sick of this, if they're tired, if they got to go back to work, if they got to go back to their families, they're going to be in a room arguing with the other people like, yo, let's get up out of here. Like, put your decision down so we get up out of here. All right. So the possibility of the verdict coming down today is extremely high because this is their first opportunity to go back to their own lives, because now the jury, they have their own lives and Diddy's life in their hands. Now they can reconvene tomorrow and then come back the day after that and then Monday. But just from a human standpoint, these people are sick of this. And Diddy, either they like him or they feel like this whole thing is a witch hunt, and they're going to be like, yo, man, I'm ready to go. So what you got? What you got? What you got? What you got? And they're going to put their stuff down and they're going to get up out of there. That's my opinion. So drop your city in the chat. Let me know where you at. Drop your city in the chat. Let me know where you at. Put a 1 in the chat if my mic is clear. Put a 1 in the chat if my mic is clear. I got some videos for y'all, and we are watching everything right now. Drop your city in the chat. Let me know where you at, and put a 1 in the chat if my mic is clear. Clear meaning you hear the actual mic and not the room. So if I'm talking through the mic, because sometimes the mic don't be on and I don't even realize it. All right. So the Diddy docket, they put up a poll and there's a mock verdict. There's a mock verdict, okay? Not a real verdict. And it's saying 79% guilty and 21% not guilty. For anybody just watching and you don't know who I am, I despise Diddy. I want Diddy under the prison. But there's a but. I have not heard, like, officially, as we've been, going through these different days of different people taking a stand, I have not seen Christina Quorm. All of these stories that we all have heard on the internet, they did not show up in court. So the first thing I have to think is some of this stuff true or is some of this stuff a lie? So as we wait for the verdict, y'all come on in, hit the like button, hit the thumbs up button. I want to break down some of the things that we have heard, and we like, oh yeah, get him out of here, right? But did he do these things for real? I think he did, but why isn't it showing up in, official court documents? So, because the thing about it is some of this stuff probably were lies, and we're going to get into it. All right, so here's the first one right here.
To pay Cat $50 million for a one-night stand?
I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
Diddy is allegedly trying to kidnap and essay Cat Williams.
Diddy tried to sleep with them or force them to sleep with him.
According to Cat, Diddy allegedly got furious when he turned down his $50 million offer, and he allegedly had his people abduct Cat, and he tried to force him into a freak-off session against his will.
What's happening?
So right here, just a thought. If Cat Williams was quote unquote abducted, according to, and you got to remember, Cat Williams literally said it on Club Shay Shay that he offered him $50 million. Why didn't Cat Williams take the stand? Does anybody want to share your opinion on why Cat Williams didn't take the stand? In my opinion, I think this is true, because right now we're going to talk about what's true and what's not true, or what we think is true and what we think is not true. I think this is true. And the reason why Cat Williams did not take the stand, in my opinion, is because Cat Williams comes from the streets, or he holds hood rules, and I don't think he would take the stand against anybody, and I think he would just handle it in the street. So that is the first misconception that we all have. That did he do this in particular? Let me know in the chat. Did he do this? Do you think he grabbed Cat Williams and put him in the trunk and try to abduct him? I would say yes, because if y'all know Cat Williams has been in a lot of different things where you like, yo, he's down on the ground getting choked out. So I could see Cat Williams getting abducted and thrown in a literal trunk and ain't telling nobody nothing. All right. So here's the second thing that came out that we heard, and nobody talked about this in court.
2 pages of the newest Diddy lawsuit, and by far this is the most disturbing thing I've ever read. This is the point where I usually tell you to grab a cocktail, but this time I'm asking you to grab some tissue and definitely your earphones.
Shout out to Wendy. Let's get some super chats going. Great job, Aaron. Thank you so much, Wendy. Everybody hit the thumbs up button and drop your city in the chat. Let me know where you at. Drop your city in the chat and let me know where you at. But we're waiting on for the people who just came in. We're waiting on the verdict. In my opinion, the verdict is happening today because everybody's tired. Everybody's ready to go home. And it only makes sense for them to just like, fuck it. All right, he's guilty or he's not guilty, so we can go home. I do not see them taking all week to do this shit. Niggas ready to go home. All right, so hit a like button, 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 hit a like button. So this is something that happened that we all talked about, but none of this showed up in court. So let's listen.
I just read all 62 pages of the newest Diddy lawsuit, and by far this is the most disturbing thing I've ever read. This is the point where I usually tell you to grab a cocktail, but this time I'm asking you to grab some tissue.
Good morning, Marion.
And definitely.
Everybody say good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Renee. Good morning, Dion. Good morning, Rudy. Good morning, Lawrence. Good morning, Wendy. Everybody say good morning in the chat. 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 Right. We're going to talk about Ali Carter also.
Ashley Parham is the newest plaintiff to file suit against Diddy, but she also is suing a few others. She's also suing Christina Quorm, here she is, Shane Pierce, and 3 John Does and 1 Jane Doe. And for those who don't know, John Doe and Jane Doe is a fictitious name that is used when the person's real name is unknown or being concealed. What we do know about these people is that Christina is an employee of Diddy. She's also known as his right-hand woman. And Shane, unfortunately, is someone that Ashley considered to be a friend. Back in February of 2018, Shane and Ashley met. He actually came to her rescue as she was getting into an altercation with another man at a bar. After the whole ordeal, a bunch of people are standing outside the bar talking, and then Shane decides to FaceTime Diddy, kind of showing everyone, look who my friend is, I'm important. Ashley kind of makes a face and is completely unimpressed and makes a statement on how she believes that Diddy has something to do with Tupac's death. Diddy, who's still on FaceTime, overheard the comment that Ashley made and told her she would pay for saying that. So after this whole ordeal at the bar, Shane and Ashley become friends, and they
So hopefully y'all keeping up with that. A guy and a woman, they're at a bar and somebody pulls up Diddy on FaceTime and it's like, hey, I'm hanging out with Diddy. And the other person like, fuck Diddy and all this other stuff. And Diddy was like, I'm gonna get your ass. And then now the apartment scene. Do y'all think this happened for real? Or do you think this is just a lie that somebody tried to put in a lawsuit? Because this wasn't supposed to come out, but why? Because my question is to y'all: if I sued Diddy in a lawsuit, civil lawsuit, can I be brought on the stand in his criminal trial? I'll ask the question again. If something happened to me, that Diddy did something to me, I sue him in a civil case. Can they bring me up to be a witness in his federal criminal trial? What do y'all think?
keep in touch. March 2018 rolls around and Shane calls Ashley and asks her to come over to help him take his cancer medication. He said he was too weak to open the bottles. Little did Ashley know this is actually a setup and potentially about to be one of the worst days of her life. After she arrives, they make small talk. He tells her how he just got this new car and he wants to give her a spin. Now we know hindsight is 20/20, but this is a sign. How you too weak to open medicine, but you well enough to drive? Nonetheless, they head for a little spin in his car and head back onto the house. Once back inside his apartment, she notices that he leaves the door slightly open, so she mentions it to him, and he says, oh, the door's been tripping. I told maintenance about it. They should be fixing it soon. About 10 minutes later, guess who comes right on in? You guessed it, Diddy. Well, he doesn't come alone. He's there with Christina and also his bodyguard. The bodyguard is named as John Doe number 1. Also, Jane Doe is there, another woman who she does not know, but she describes her to be in her 30s with blonde hair. And John Doe number 2 and 3 are there, who's supposedly a friend of Diddy and Shane's and also Diddy's driver. According to the lawsuit, John Doe number 3, the driver never came inside. He stayed in the car. Ashley states that Diddy immediately started to antagonize her about the comments she made about Tupac.
Okay, so Dion said no. A civil cannot be brought up on a high-profile Fed case. Federal. Okay, let's see. That's why Little Rod's situation wasn't brought up because it was civil. Okay, so this is a scenario 2. We talked about Cat Williams. I think, and y'all think that actually happened. So do y'all think this actually happened?
He started walking towards her with the knife, held it up to the right side of her face, and said that he should give her a Glasgow smile. If you don't know what that is, it usually is when the victim gets a cut on each side of their mouth all the way to their ears. Then Christina urged Diddy to stop, suggesting that it wouldn't be a good idea. They could just sell her to one of their clients. Then Christina went on to threaten Ashley and said she would ship her off to anywhere in the world and she would never see her family again. Diddy and Shane then proceeded to...
And where's Christina Quorm? Where the hell is Christina Quorm? I have some information about where Christina Quorm may be and why she hasn't testified. I got a lawyer that's going to talk about that in a minute. But where is Christina Quorm?
stripped Ashley of all her clothing, they pulled a bottle out of a bag and started pouring that liquid all over her. She was in fear at first, thinking that it was some kind of chemical, but then she
Because right here, Christina Quorm is the one pulling the devices out the bags and handing it to Diddy. So Diddy is literally right there, and it's like, I mean, not Diddy. Christina Quorm is like right there when Diddy is doing all this crazy shit.
soon realized that it was baby oil. Then Diddy instructed Christina to insert what looked like a syringe up Ashley's vag. Then something went wrong. Whatever was a part of their plan with this syringe, Christina wasn't doing it right, so Diddy started inserting it himself. Christina and Jane Doe decide to leave, and so now Ashley is alone with Diddy, Shane, John Doe number 1 and 2. Next, Diddy picks up a television remote that's nearby and starts violently inserting it into Ashley. Ashley is hysterically crying and screaming, and Diddy instructs Shane to flip her over on her stomach because he doesn't want to see or hear none of that. Diddy then instructed Shane to put a pillow over her head to muffle some of the screams, and then Shane proceeded to R-word her anally. After Shane, then Diddy, John Doe number 1, and John Doe number 2 all took turns doing the same. She also stated that before John Doe started, he doused her with more oil and then jumped on her back as if she was a slip and slide, which knocked the wind out of her because he was a large person. She also stated that while John Doe number 1 was doing this to her, that Diddy was sitting in a chair in the room masturbating and filming. During this whole ordeal, John Doe's phone falls near the bed. She tries to reach for it but can't grab it, and she says Diddy starts laughing and says he owns her now. She stated that by the time it was over, she could not move and she had no control over her bodily functions. At some point, Christina comes back into the room and starts giving Ashley an IV. I think that this is a good spot to end this video. I don't want it to get too long, and we're not even halfway through the lawsuit.
And her name is Lauren, the lawyer. So shout out to her. Shout out to Lauren, the lawyer. So do y'all believe this? I believe it. And the reason why I believe it, other than just me not liking him, because some of y'all are going to believe anything somebody say negatively about somebody because y'all don't like them. So I want to remove myself from that box and explain why I believe this story. Why we gotta all I always like to look at the psychology of a person and why a person is doing or could be doing certain things. And the reason why I believe situations like this is because Diddy had something taken away from him when he was young, whether his virginity, maybe he was R-worded, maybe the abuse that he dealt with, possibly with his mother, but something was taken away from him when he was a child or when he was young. And because of what was taken away from him, he now feels empowered to take from other people. And this is kind of like what happens when you are abused over here by the white man, by society, or by other men. As a man, you turn around and look for people that are under you and you start abusing them. There's a book that I told y'all about that I read about a guy that studied chimpanzees, and he's a white guy, and he literally sat against a tree for like 3 years and following this colony of chimpanzees or monkeys around to study brain behavior or human behavior, because monkeys have the same brains as us, right? And the reason why he follows around monkeys instead of following around people, because he can, like, for example, when a monkey gets beat up or when a monkey gets rejected, he's watching a monkey get rejected by a female. He then shoots him with a dart or, like puts him to sleep. And then he'll go study the monkey's brain pattern in his truck, right? So he's studying brain patterns right after a monkey goes through something horrific or something traumatizing or something just slightly hurtful. Because, a lot of you guys, y'all meet women and the women will, push you away and say, I'm not interested. And you feel bad, right? But nobody can study your brain pattern right after you get, pushed away by a woman. Well, this guy, he would see a monkey go through something, put him to sleep, and immediately study the monkey's brain pattern, right? So the reason why I'm bringing this up is how a person's brain actually rewires itself after being rejected, after being abused, is important to understand. All right. So with the monkeys, and I'm going somewhere with this, with the monkeys, he literally would witness a monkey try to get at a female that is not his female, right? Because the alpha gorilla or monkey or whatever would get all the females. All the females would, it was baboons. I'm sorry, it was baboons. So the alpha baboon or the two alpha baboons would have sex with all of the females, right? And he would the scientists would witness the one of the loser baboons try to mate with one of the female baboons, and a big ass baboon will come and just beat the dog shit out of the young small baboon, right? So next thing you know, shoot, he puts him to sleep, and then he goes and studies his brain patterns, right? So a couple times he would see, once he gets enough intel, he would just let everything play out. So here's the point I'm saying about Diddy. In this scenario with the baboons, a baboon will get beat up by the alpha baboon, right? And then he would watch the small baboon. And next thing you know, he starts beating up a smaller baboon, right? So this is the point. You get rejected or shunned or beat up by an alpha male, right? Psychologically, you now got to get your shit off on somebody else because you want to feel like the alpha male felt when it beat you up, right? So the freaking baboon would go and beat up another baboon that he can win against. This is why bullies bully in school. It's an actual psychological thing. And we're talking about Diddy. Next thing you know, that third baboon that just got beat up by the smaller baboon that just got beat up by the bigger baboon, what does he do? He turns around and beats on a female baboon. Y'all see the cycle? Somebody asked me a long time ago, like, why do black men seem to be abusive? I know white men are abusive too, but why do, because this is how she feels. Why do so many black men treat black women so badly, right? And this is a real thing. A lot of you black men don't want to hear this, but a lot of black men treat black women very badly, whether it's abuse or, whatever. And it's partly because the white man or white America is treating him badly. So going back to the baboon then the third baboon beats up a female baboon. What does that female baboon go do? Anybody in the chat want to answer that? What does the female baboon then go do? I'm going to give y'all a second. What does the female baboon then go do after getting beat on by the male baboon that just got beat on by the other male baboon that just got beat on by the alpha baboon? Let me know in the chat.
Here's my legal prediction.
All right, so we're gonna get into this, but I want to make this point first. Let me know in the chat, y'all. What does the female baboon then go do? After she just got, yes. Thank you, Wendy. She starts abusing her young. So it's a cycle. It's a trickle down cycle. Yes, Willie Lynch syndrome. Yes, 1000%. That is my point. So what I'm saying is Diddy is the way he is because he has a lot of money. That's the first thing. Because when you get a lot of money, you get a lot of power, you become more of who you actually are. Some of you watching, you as a man or you as a woman are abusive. towards your coworkers, possibly, towards your kids, possibly, towards women, possibly, towards men, possibly, because some women are abusive towards men. And of course, y'all are never going to say it. And I may not even be talking to the people in the chat. I might be talking to a viewer on the replay. But some of y'all are abusive. It's not always Diddy. It's not always them out there. It's you or somebody watching, not you in particular. I'm not talking to James. I'm not talking to Marion. I'm not talking about to Layla, but some of you watching are abusive or have been abusive towards a man, towards a woman, towards your kids, towards a coworker that is under you. So the thing about it is, when we look at Diddy and the psychological reason why Diddy is the way he is not necessarily that he's such an outlier and he's such a devil. It's because he has power. It's because he has power, which means some of you may actually be just like Diddy, but you don't have the money to be like Diddy. Put a one in the chat that makes any sense. So I don't like Diddy. And everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. We are low on likes. Can y'all please hit the like button? Can you please hit the like button? To the new people who just came in, thank y'all for being in here. But put a one in the chat if y'all understand what I'm saying. But I need everybody in here to hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. So let's get these likes up, and then we'll continue. But put a one in the chat if y'all understand what I'm saying. Some of y'all watching, whether it's you yourself or some of the other people watching, they are abusive. Because the abusers, they move around among us. It's not always Diddy. Abusers are everywhere. So quick commercial break, hit the like button, and we're going to come back and talk about this.
How about we meet up at a coffee shop and play this fun dating card game? We'll have fun and see if we're compatible all at the same time.
Ooh, what's the name of the game?
It's called Deeper Discussions.
I'm down.
Okay, meet you at 6.
Fellas, buy this card game. Ladies, buy this card game. Buy about 2 or 3 card games. The main reason why people can't stay together isn't because they don't like each other no more. It's actually because their present family issues come up or their past family issues come up. But when you play Deeper Discussions, you'll be able to understand a person's family issues up front.
This game can be played with either 2 people or an entire group. So have fun.
Question number 1. Name a time when money was the main factor why a relationship went bad.
Deeper Discussions Dating Edition. Again, these cards are good for vetting a potential boyfriend,
Candidate.
a potential girlfriend, a potential husband, a potential wife. The texture of these cards are so soft and silky, by the way. Like
They ain't gonna get
really
wore out.
durable.
A dating card game for introverts who have a hard time asking the much needed compatibility questions. Deeper Discussions, the card game.
All right, so where are my likes at? Everybody hit the like button. Hopefully y'all been hitting the like button. Everybody hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. Get this video out to more people. Hit the like button, hit the like button. Okay, so going back to the psychology, I don't know how to do a poll, Wendy. I'm sorry. That's one thing I don't know how to do. Like, I don't know where the hell the little poll thing is. I don't know. I don't know how that shit works. I've always wanted to do a poll, but I don't know where it is. But so here we go. The psychology of people like Diddy, because it's not just Diddy. We look to take out it's called projecting. I had a woman to tell me, you hate women. And I'm like, explain how. And she couldn't explain how. And she said, because you talk about this, you talk about that. I said, well, I say the same thing about men. I call men deadbeats, just like I call women single mothers and all this other shit. So how do I hate women but don't hate men? Does that mean I hate everybody, or do I not hate anybody? Right? And then she ended up venting about how she too was abused. And she was like, I'm one of the people that have been abused. Right? And I'm not going to tell you what she said, but she said she was blatantly abused. So I'm like, okay, do you think that you may be projecting and you actually have a hatred towards men instead of projecting that you see me as somebody who has hatred towards women? Could it be that you have a hatred towards men? So a lot of us, not just Diddy, project our anger, project our distrust out on other people. So the projecting thing is a big problem. We spend a lot of energy projecting our own issues and thoughts on the other people. And next thing you know, we turn around and don't even realize that we're the actual demon. We're the actual problem. We're the actual villain and not the other person. So while we're spending all this time talking shit about Diddy, which is warranted, I need y'all to understand that some of y'all are somewhat like him. You just don't have the money. So I'm gonna play a video in a second that Torre is somebody, he's a journalist, and he explains how, like, I'm gonna let Torre explain it. So give that a second. Let's see if it shows up. All right, here we go. Let's see. Hopefully it won't freeze. So Torre literally talks about this projection. So check this out. Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button.
I'm pretty sure even the devil is like, ooh.
So let's see. So check this out. So we're going to talk about the psychological side of Diddy, the psychology of Diddy, and because this is very important.
I'm a savage! Oh! I'm a savage! Whatever I want, I'm going to get! Whatever I want, I have to get!
Everybody around Puffy was scared of Puffy.
That's your phone?
That's mine, yeah.
Answer it.
Definitely. What's up, bro? This meeting in order to humiliate. It's kind of like you're signing boy band groups and girl band groups because you like one or two of them and you want to see who's gonna go. It's nothing to you but a tax write-off, but you're really searching for a butt the whole time. So
think about that.
He was looking for my butt, Chopper butt, everybody butt. He was just signing a lot of boys. Usher, it was something he figured out that R. Kelly figured out is we can get them away from the parents. If we could get them alone, isolated, then we can get them.
I know this man well enough to call him and say, hey, I need a favor.
Yeah.
And this might have been 10, 12 years ago that I called him and say, hey, I have a family member who I want you to hire them as an intern.
Yeah.
And I have never talked about this publicly. And
So we got to get back to this. We got to get back to this. This right here is exploitation. This right here, we're going to...
Yeah, no, I can't talk right now. They forced me to answer in the middle of this meeting in order to humiliate me. He was...
Okay. This is exploitation. And for all of you, there's so many other people that exploit other people. So this is the exploitive nature of not just Diddy. It was R. Kelly also. It was a lot of these dudes. And going back to that, what I just said earlier, some of you have exploited women. Because the only difference between us or y'all or whatever you want to call it, what's up, Brown Sugar, and people like Diddy is because they have the ability and the money and the power and the influence to exploit people. Some of you women exploit men. So it's certain levels of exploitation. But y'all, I gotta play this shit again because this right here is crazy.
Grooming us. It's kind of like you're signing boy band groups and girl band groups because you like one or two of them and you want to see who's gonna go. It's not.
The thing about it is, some of us would do the shit. Some of us, not saying me, but some of us would do the shit. I want y'all to think about this. If you were this high profile producer and every man and every woman would love to work with you, and you see this fine ass girl walking through the mall and say you don't have no game, or say you have issues with rejection, right? Say you have issues with rejection, and then you turn around and then walks up to the woman, instead of you just saying, hey, how you doing? My name is Diddy, or my name is John, or whatever. Say you wanted to just exploit the fact that, like, because the thing about it is, people like Diddy, they thrive off of having power over another person. So Diddy just doesn't want to walk up to a woman and say, hey, my name is Diddy. Can I take you out to dinner? He wants to sign you like he did with Cassie. He wants to sign you to a boy band or a girl band. And then next thing you know, you work for him. So you got to have sex with him. So he does not have to worry about you rejecting him, because people like Diddy do not imagine ever being rejected. So if he gets rejected, he goes crazy. So to protect himself from being rejected, he will pull you into a boy band or a girl band. And if you don't do what he wants you to do, your ass is fired. This way, he never has to worry about rejection. If you looked at Diddy when he was younger, he had these buck teeth. He looked like a real cornball. So there's a possibility that Diddy was extremely lame and he got rejected left and right because Diddy looked like a goof. And when he got a hold of some money, he probably said, I never want to feel rejected ever in life. So to keep me from getting rejected, I'm just going to bring somebody into a boy band or a girl band, and I'm going to fuck them, and I ain't got to worry about nobody telling me no. Layla says, many men hate women because of their evil, broken, unhealed mothers. Yes, I totally agree. But I can also say, Layla, many women hate women because of their broken, evil, unhealed mothers. See, that's something that nobody wants to talk about. Most of y'all hate not only other women, I'm talking to women right now, most of y'all hate yourselves. And we're talking about Diddy, but you brought this up, so I want to, talk about this a little bit. And Facebook, can y'all please hit the like button? All right, so we got about 500 people in here. Can we get the likes up, please? Everybody take a second and hit the like button. So I want to say this. Black people, not just men, not just women, Black people hate ourselves. And it comes from a Willie Lynch letter. There is an everlasting orbiting mindset that is stuck in the Black people. That's why we go out and buy Gucci and all this crazy shit, because we like Gucci and all this other shit. Those are white people's brands, right? We don't wear Black people's brands. We wear white people's brands. And we wear all this Gucci and Louis and all this other stuff because we want to feel better than other Black people. So this designer shit, y'all buying all these stupid ass bags and shit that are expensive. The reason why y'all wear wigs, and I'm not just going in on women, but I'm just answering this comment. Y'all like to look higher than other Black people. I dated a woman that wore a wig, but wore her natural hair. And I'm like, she'll wear her natural hair around me, but she'll wear a wig every time she gets ready to go to work. And I just was like, yo, is there a reason why like you wear a wig to go to work, but you don't wear a wig when you get off work? Like, it's like a uniform for her, right? And she said, those women at work ain't finna look at me like I'm basic. And I stopped for a second. I said, those women at work are not going to look at me like I'm basic. One, what is basic? Two, if you are basic, what's wrong with being basic? And why are other Black women at your job calling you basic when you wear your own hair? She was not a wig wearer. She wore her own hair. She only wore a wig when it was time to go to work. So she wasn't around me when she wore a wig. But when I would pick her up from work, or, you know, like if I would not catch her, but when I would see her before she got a chance to take the wig off and, you know, she would fix her hair, I would see her with a wig on, but she would, you know, take it off. Other women made her hate herself because she called herself basic. She didn't say they called me basic. She said, I can't let other women think I was basic. So when we look at Diddy, when we look at the abusive nature of black men, we got to also look at why they do that. And is it because they hate women? No, black men hate themselves, but black women hate themselves also. The majority of you cannot look at yourself in the mirror without being like, I look basic. It's the basic thing. But who taught you this basic shit? Not white men. There's no white man on the planet that told you that you look basic when you're on hair. A black woman told you that you look basic without a wig on. So black women hate black women because black women hate themselves. They hate their own image in the mirror. They hate their own reflection. A lot of y'all wear wigs in your own house because you don't want to walk past a mirror without your wig on. So Diddy is not the only abusive person out here. Some of y'all are abusive to yourselves. Every time you look in that mirror, you're abusive. You hate your nose. You hate your ears. You hate your hairline. And y'all, some of y'all know one reason why I barely ever wear a hat is because I love myself. I love the shape of my head. I don't want to hide my head because I love myself. And I'm not, because here's what's crazy. The reason why some black men wear ball caps every day of their lives is because they hate themselves. Ball caps are like wigs, but nobody ever wants to talk about that shit. There's always women hating men who talk shit about wigs. See, I can talk about y'all wigs because I don't wear ball caps. I'm not hiding shit. I might put a little black in my beard, because this is gray hair, but I'm not hiding like a fraction of me from y'all. Some of y'all put girdles on because y'all hate your big backness. So I wanted to just address this comment because we're going to get back to the video. Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. Many men hate black women because they're evil, broken, unhealed mothers. Many of you ladies hate yourselves because you're evil, unhealed black mothers. Evil, broken, unhealed mothers, period. And it's white women too. So I just wanted y'all to understand that. It is not just black men that hate black women. It is black women who hate black women. How do you think black men have grown to hate black women? Because they're mothers. Fellas, put a 1 in the chat if this is true. Y'all ready? Fellas, put a 1 in the chat if this is true. Have you ever heard your black single mother warn you about these nasty, disgusting little girls? To the fellas, real quick. Fellas, has your single mother ever talked shit about girls when you were growing up? Your mother taught you to hate women because your mother warned you about how nasty and don't bring one of these. She always felt this like diabolical need to tell you how disgusting when these little nasty little girls. Put a 1 in the chat, fellas. And ladies, I want y'all to see the ones in the chat. Fellas in the chat, put a 1 in the chat if your mother talked terrible shit about girls. These little nasty little girls. Your mother did not want you to date them because she was them. She was doing the same shit that they were doing. So she warned you about how nasty and trifling they are. White moms also, yes. I did say white people and black people. The Willie Lynch letter is about black people. But overall, white women hate other white women just like black women do. Can I get a thank you? What do you mean, can you get a thank you? Chat, also hit the like button. Don't be lazy. It's just a click, y'all. Yeah, man, y'all hit the thumbs up button. I appreciate y'all being here. And for anybody wondering, we are waiting on Diddy. Hold on, something just came in. All right, so let's get into what's going on Twitter right now. So, Rosie said she liked your bald head. Thank you. I'm just saying it's because I love my bald head. I don't want to hide my bald head. You get what I'm saying? I love myself. There's a lot of YouTubers that do faceless videos. Do y'all know that? Put a 1 in the chat if y'all see YouTubers do faceless videos. You never see their face. They just talk about shit and then it's why? You don't love yourself? You don't want to see? I want to see myself. Like I see a mirror of myself when I'm online. I see myself. But put a 1 in the chat if you see male YouTubers and female YouTubers who never show their faces. You just recognize their voice. Why don't they show their face? Because there's a possibility that they don't like looking at their selves when they online. Rosie said, you're giving Tupac sexy bald head. Thank you, Rosie. All right, so let's get into inner city press and what has been going on. All right, so we're having a Diddy verdict party. We're having a Diddy verdict party. Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. And thank y'all for being here. Okay, so here we go. The judge, and this is a little earlier. Judge says, kidnapping does not occur. This is a judge saying this to the jury. He's giving the jury instructions, okay? Kidnapping does not occur if the victim consented. Consent may be withdrawn at some point. Arson under California law means the conspirator set fire or caused the fire willfully or maliciously. All right. Bribery, he's just giving rules. So what he's doing now, this is what the Judge Submaranian is doing. Judge Submaranian. Thank you, Rosie. Judge Submaranian. He says bribery of a witness under California law requires that a conspirator gave or promised to give a bribe to a person giving or about to give information to law enforcement to unlawfully influence their opinion or the situation. So hearing something makes me think Diddy is going to do life in prison. One particular thing is showing me that Diddy is going to do life in prison. Do y'all know that one thing? Because at first, I was looking at all this shit and I'm like, man, Diddy ain't gonna do no time. There's one thing that keeps showing up that tells me Diddy is about to do life. Do y'all want to guess what that one thing is? Out of all this stuff, what is the one thing that I keep hearing that is telling me that Diddy is going to do life in prison? Does anybody want to know? Y'all let me know in the chat. I think Diddy is going to do life in prison because of something that I keep hearing. What do y'all think that is? Submarinian. Hold on. Submarinium. Judge Submarinium. Does anybody want to know? Okay. No, not bribery, not trafficking. No. California law. The word California law alone is going to put Diddy in prison for life. California law. Look at Tory Lanez. Where did Tory Lanez shoot in the air at? Because Tory Lanez did not shoot Meg Thee Stallion. California law. A lot of this shit happened in California. Never break the law in California. Because if you know anything about California law, California got laws that nobody else has. It's not a RICO. It's not bribery. It's the fact that some of this shit happened in California. California law says this. California law said that. California law said that's the reason why, specifically the reason why Diddy's about to do life in prison. Diddy ain't never coming home. And somebody said, Mr. Let Go changed his mind. No. Y'all got to understand something. I want Diddy to go to prison for the rest of his life. But at the same time, I like to look at things objectively. So if charges look like they were dropped, because charges were not dropped, but they kept saying charges were dropped. But if I think charges are dropped, or if I think Cassie is saying dumb shit or helping Diddy get off, or if the Jane Doe, if Jane Doe comes up there and she says Diddy is paying my rent to this day, I'll be like, yo, this is crazy. So it's not that I want Diddy to go home. I want Diddy to go to prison. I have disdain for Diddy. All right. But I have a responsibility to myself and my audience to be objective and see things from both sides. All right. So what has changed my mind, not my feelings, but my mind about whether Diddy is going to go to prison or not, is California law. You say RICO was an overcharge. I can kind of like agree with you on that. I think this whole RICO thing, like, was Diddy this drug lord? No, Diddy was just a junkie. Cassie was a junkie. So it's literally, to me, I literally see this whole thing as two junkies fighting each other, because Cassie used to punch Diddy in the face. So they used to fight each other. I'm not saying Diddy wasn't abusive, but I'm saying Cassie used to punch Diddy in the face. And Jane Doe one time took Diddy's, I think Diddy was high and he was leaning over or something, and she took this opportunity to just knock the shit out of Diddy, and she rammed Diddy. When you high, you kind of like this right here, right? I feel high. And then she like, bow, bow, bow. So she literally hurt Diddy also. So when you talk about how Diddy was abusive, yes, but at the same time, this is how junkies fight. This is junkie shit. They just run around arguing with each other. You ever seen a male and female junkie walking down the street? They always arguing with each other. They fighting with each other, and junkies fight each other. One of the things that was pointed out was, and Cassie said it herself. Cassie would steal his drug. She would steal his drugs. I'll say it again. Cassie used to steal Diddy's drugs. And when you steal drugs from a junkie, he's going to beat your ass. It's not right, but it's what junkies do. Diddy is or was a junkie. Cassie was a junkie. These are junkies fighting because she stole his drugs. You're going to get your ass beat if you steal my drugs type shit. So with all that being said, I'm like, this thing ain't going to go to jail. This is junkie shit. All right? It's junkie shit. Literally, this is junkie shit. But when the California law comes into play, everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. Y'all are hitting the like button, so thank y'all so much. But I need the rest of you who just came in to hit the like button. Everybody come in and hit the like button. 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 Hit the like button, y'all. When it's junkie shit, it's not abuse. It's junkie shit. All right? We got two people who are on drugs. They're going to be abusive to each other because that's what drug addicts do. All right? That does not mean I'm on Diddy's side. California is diabolical, 1,000%. So when I keep hearing, because it said bribery of a witness under California law requires that the conspirator gave or promised to give a bribe to another person. So I'm like, oh shit. He bribed the hotel manager in California? He's guilty of that. See, the thing about it is the jury has to deliberate on about 5 different charges, right? Did he traffic the prostitutes? No, he didn't. And even if he did, nobody cares because the prostitutes were male. Nobody cares about no damn. See, when you think about trafficking, you think about a girl being in the back of a fucking tractor-trailer truck. That's what we think about trafficking. But he's trafficking niggas. Nobody cares. So he's not going to get He's not going to get a guilty plea on the trafficking thing because nobody gives a shit about a dude paying a dude to sleep with his girl. But the bribery, that is guaranteed a charge because he did that shit. He did that. He bribed somebody to keep the tape from coming out. So no, he's not going to get charged with a trafficking charge. Because that is just junkie. That is just a horny dude calling somebody from another state. Nobody's going to say you need to go to prison because the thing about it is, it's not about whether you're guilty of an offense. It's whether you should go to prison for that offense. I'll say it again. It's not that you're guilty of the offense. It's should you go to prison for that offense? Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with me. Diddy should not go to prison for calling escorts to come sleep with his wife. If I was on the jury and I don't like Diddy, I'm not going to put Diddy in prison for hiring male escorts to sleep with Cassie. So, no. If I was on there, because that's stupid. It's stupid, guys. Like R. Kelly said, R. Kelly did that shit. But I'm not putting the man in prison. I don't care who he is. Because he hired a male escort to sleep with his wife. I'm not putting you in prison for that. Are you crazy? I'm not doing those. That's stupid. So that's the first charge that he's not going to get off on. I mean, that he's going to get off on. Diddy, Cassie was not his wife. Okay, whatever. I said, I'm not going to put a man in prison for getting a man to sleep with his girlfriend, his woman, his wife, or whoever. That's all I'm saying. Don't have to agree with the law, but the law is the law. Actually, it's not the law. Don't have to agree with the law, but the law is no. The law is the jury. The law is not the law. The jury is the law. Everybody drop in the chat. The jury is the law. Everybody drop in the chat right now. The jury is the law. The law is not the law in a jury trial. The only thing that matters in a jury trial is the jury. So the law is not the law in a jury trial. The jury is the law in a jury trial. Drop it. The jury is the law. The law could be whatever it is, what you say. But if the jury says he didn't do that shit, he didn't do the shit. The judge is not the law. The jury is the law. Everybody drop in the chat. The jury is the law. 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 It doesn't matter what the lawyer said. It don't matter what Diddy said. It don't matter what Cassie said. It don't matter what the judge said. It matters what the 12 people in that jury box said. The jury is the law. So nobody cares about the law in a jury trial. It's about whether the jury is going to convict a man because he decided to get another man to come from another state to sleep with his wife or sleep with his woman or sleep with his girlfriend. They're not going to say he's guilty of that because it doesn't make any sense to say that. So that's the first thing. The next thing is kidnapping. Is the jury going to say he kidnapped Cassie or Jane Doe? The answer is no. The answer is no. Those women could have left whenever the fuck they wanted to. They chose to stay. Those women were not kidnapped. And remember, the judge himself just said at 9 a.m. this morning, kidnapping, this came from the judge, y'all. The judge says kidnapping does not occur if the victim consented. Consent may be withdrawn, but it's not kidnapping. The judge said that. So he's not going to go to prison for kidnapping. But bribery in California is a wrap because he did that shit. There's no room for interpretation on the bribery charge. It's not like, okay, did he? Yes. Well, yes. Well, maybe. No, he did that shit. All right. Next, the judge said a person may withdraw consent and it may become forced labor. Forced labor. Not kidnapping, but forced labor. Sex trafficking will have the same definition as in courts 2 and 4. I don't know what that means. And transportation to engage in prostitution, the same as count 2, count 3 and 5. All right. The conspirator set the fire. What does consent may be withdrawn mean exactly? I was wondering that myself. Consent may be withdrawn. What does that mean? All right. So they're asking him, what does that mean? Okay. Judge, the U.S. alleges 8 predicated kidnapping, arson, bribery, witness tampering, forced labor, sex trafficking, transportation for prostitution, intent to distribute narcotics. So this is what I see happening. Kidnapping, no. Arson, no. Bribery, yes. Witness tampering, yes. Forced labor, yes. Sex trafficking, no. Transportation for prostitution, no. Intent to distribute narcotics, yes. So in my opinion, he's going to go do life in prison for bribery, witness tampering, forced labor, and the intent to distribute narcotics. Those four. And the reason why he's going to do life in prison is because the shit was done in California. Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez is doing 10 years in prison for discharging a firearm. He is not in prison for shooting a woman. I'll say it again. Tory Lanez is doing 10 years in prison for discharging a firearm. He is not in prison for shooting a woman because he did not shoot her. California law ain't shit. So bribery was in California. Witness tampering was in California. And then, of course, the intent to distribute narcotics. So let's talk about the white boy. The white boy was caught transporting narcotics from one state to another. He was doing it to give Diddy drugs to do freak-offs with, not to sell like a drug dealer. So I'm gonna ask y'all, am I wrong for saying he's going to go to prison for the distribution, the intent to distribute narcotics if he was not trying to sell the drugs? He was not a drug dealer. What do y'all think? Because I'm going to explain what I heard. If I have drugs and I'm partying with the drugs, how am I going to go to prison for the intent to distribute drugs when I'm not a drug dealer? Does anybody want to know? Because this is crazy. I learned this 2 days ago. Because in all my drug dealing days, I have heard of and witnessed people get pulled over with drugs in a car, but they can get off on a drug and they can, well, not get off. They can get off on intent to distribute and just get drug possession because they like, yo, I'm finna do these drugs. These are my drugs. But why is it that Diddy is about to go to get served life in prison for doing the same thing? Does anybody want to know? Answer in the chat right now. Answer in the comments, because I'm about to answer myself. Layla got it. I mean, Brown Sugar got it. Distribution by law does not just mean selling it. It means handing it out. This is distribution. If this is illegal and I buy it and I hand it to you and then hand it to your friend, that is distribution, or that is the intent to distribute it. I didn't know that until a few days ago. And I come from a drug dealing background. But as a drug dealer, think about this. As a drug dealer, because we used to sell crack, we never had to deal with the conversation of handing the crack out to our friends for them to smoke it, because we didn't smoke the crack. We sold the crack to crackheads. We didn't smoke the crack. So the conversation of distribution to our friends never came up because none of us smoked crack. So when a guy gets pulled over with crack, he would literally be like, no, I'm a crackhead. I smoke crack. And they'd be like, all right, we'll get you on drug possession. Because if you got like a bomb of crack and, you can literally try to say, no, I'm a crackhead and I just bought a bunch of crack and I'm going to smoke it. Right. But Diddy is distributing it to Cassie, the prostitute, and whoever else is around. That is intent to distribute. All right, so let's go to these videos. Diddy Watch 2000. Verdict Watch. Bro, this shit is crazy. Hold on, let me back this up a little bit for those who didn't see it. Everybody hit a like button. Everybody hit a like button. Everybody hit a like button. Everybody hit the thumbs up button. Appreciate it. And I thank you in advance.
What's up, bro? Yeah, no, I can't talk right now. He forced me to answer in the middle of this meeting in order to humiliate me. He was grooming us. It's kind of like you're signing boy band groups and girl band groups because you like one or two of them and you want to see who's gonna go. It's nothing to you but a tax write-off, but you're really searching for a butt the whole time. So he was looking for my butt, Chopper butt, everybody butt. He was just signing a lot of boys. Usher, it was something he figured out that R. Kelly figured out is we can get them away from the parents. If we could get them alone, isolated, then we can get them.
I know this man well enough to call him and say, hey, I need a favor.
Yeah.
And this might have been 10, 12 years ago that I called him and say, hey, I have a family member who I want you to hire them as an intern.
Yeah.
And I have never talked about this publicly. And he said yes. And they were flying around, one of the interns, Atlanta, Miami, whatever.
And this is Toure. The person talking, his name is Toure. Toure apostrophe. So shout out to Toure. Go follow his channel. He's on YouTube. His name is Toure. Toure apostrophe. Go check his channel out.
Whatever, on the jet, in the house, whatever. And then the internship stopped abruptly, like 3 or 4 months into it.
Yeah.
And I spoke to my family member, like, well, what happened? And they wouldn't say.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why did it end? They wouldn't say. And years later, they finally came out, and this a male, and said that Puff had said, come home, stay the night with me, or the internship is over. And they said, absolutely not. He said, absolutely not. And the internship ended. But from there, I was like, oh.
A lot of people have done a lot of pontificating on what makes Diddy tick. I think I figured it out. The sentence that will best help you understand Diddy came from Freddie P. from Making the Band. Freddie said he was addicted to breaking people.
Puffy.
That part right there. Going back to the scientists studying the baboons. When you get broken, now you want to break other people. He was addicted to breaking people.
It's an addiction, turning people out. That was his addiction.
That's because he's a sociopath. From a young age, Diddy liked feeling superior, and then he found he liked dominating people. And then, when his career really got going, he got into the wealthy man's art of breaking people.
Shit.
That's an insane...
Everybody hit a like button. Everybody hit a like button. This is crazy, y'all. This man is addicted to breaking people. Just that verbiage is absolutely nuts. And that is the reason why I want his ass in prison. Because he gets back out. If it's an addiction, he can't stop.
thing to say, but we all saw it making the band when he made those kids walk from Manhattan to Brooklyn to get him cheesecake. That was just cruel. That was just inhumane. That was just showing superiority. That had nothing to do with music and everything to do with I am superior to you and I am humbling you.
The word is born. If my cheesecake, is in the least bit soft or brittle or not on point, your will go back. Somebody gonna quit. Somebody ain't got the heart, the stamina to be bad boy. Somebody ain't got the passion, the drive, the intensity to want it. Somebody's mental capacity breaks at a certain point. I need to see it now. I want to see it when I'm 2 million in.
Yo, fam, Puffy just told us to go to the store in Brooklyn and bring him back a cheesecake and walk.
To see me on TV, some punk ass bitch, yo, it's crazy. If I walk to Brooklyn, I'm going home. That's where the I live, y'all. I'm not walking to Brooklyn. It's crazy.
Yo, it's called making the bitch, not making the band. I said we go.
Yo, he said this is making a bitch and not making a band. It's crazy. Let me get past his music.
So the ego's in your way. So the ego made the decision, especially with a like you, when I helped get your ass out of a situation and you looking at me in my face telling me you ain't gonna do something. I can see if I told you to go rob a bank, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing some, I'm gonna go get some cheesecake. You got that much ego? Go do your thing, man. Don't sit here and be talking about it, man.
Yo, who you talking to, bro? Yo, I'm sorry, man. I'm slapping that nigga in the face, bro. Like, forget this show, forget everything. I'm punch you dead in the face, bro. Like, come on, man. And I'm young. These little dudes are young. Like, forget this, man. Like, bah. Like, who is you talking to, bro? You're not doing me like this on no goddamn TV.
Be fly about him. Get your swag on, walk that way.
Diddy loved all of that because he's a sociopath. He enjoys inflicting.
Yo, y'all share this video. Everybody share this video. Share this video. Share this video.
Pain on others. He loves controlling others. I know. Because he screamed at me on 2 separate occasions trying to control me as a journalist.
So then he starts to get upset. And he's yelling at me.
Whoa, whoa. I'm not playing no Vlad, nothing. Sorry, y'all, but I'm not playing no Vlad. Vlad be doing stuff to people. I'm not playing anything from Vlad. No,
it was really interesting.
Do you think that people really know you?
No, people don't really know me. And that's by design.
Who is this person, the Sean Combs, that we don't know?
We have yet to find out.
Right.
You have to come along for the ride. You have to come. I mean, that's the whole part of the journey. That's the whole part of entertainment. I mean, you don't rock with a brother for like going on 20 years and stop now. You got to see this movie all the way through, baby. Believe me, I got an action-packed ending for you.
I think I understand him. He enjoys stepping on people. It gives him a perverse thrill, and he needs to feel superior to other people. He loves feeling like he's better than you and that he's got more than you. He's got the sense of entitlement.
So what do y'all think about that? What do y'all think? Say yes or no in the chat. Do you agree or do you disagree? Do you think that's Diddy's issue? He has an addiction to stepping on people's faces. And this is the reason why Diddy needs to go to prison for the rest of his life. Because an addiction does not go away. This is how his brain is wired. If Diddy gets out of prison, he's going to try to come out to me. He's going to try to come out to Tisa. He's going to try to come out to Ticket TV. He's going to try to come out to Simone. He's going to try to come out to all of us. And he will risk going back to prison by going after us. You know why? Because he's addicted. It's an addiction. He's not going to sit back and say, man, I'm going to chill out. It's an addiction. And he's been like this since he was like 16 years old. This shit is crazy.
Thought that his inner child was like Eric Cartman, an epically entitled, self-centered brat who thinks the entire world does and should revolve around him.
You have a point. I'm not playing this either. I'm not playing some of these clips because I don't want no problems. I don't want to get copyright strike.
First step, Diddy decided that Diddy would be Bad Boy's #1 artist.
This is when he allegedly killed Biggie. This is when he allegedly killed Biggie. Let me back it up just a little bit. This is when he allegedly killed Biggie. He killed Biggie because he wanted to be the biggest instead of Biggie. People started seeing how much they loved Biggie, and Diddy was like, I made this nigga. Why y'all love him and not me? Next thing you know, he murked his ass in order for him to be the best. His own artist that was making him millions of dollars, he allegedly got rid of him so he can be the star. This nigga crazy.
Not one. Y'all are fucked.
It was after Biggie died in '97 when things started cascading downward, step by step. First step, Diddy decided that Diddy would be Bad Boy's #1 artist. This sounded insane to people inside the company, even more so when he started going into meetings and referring to himself in the third person. So he's saying things like, well, Puff Daddy thinks, and Puff Daddy doesn't want to. People who had known him for years were like, what the fuck is going on? Now, if Diddy, the artist of the late 90s, had auditioned for Puff, the king of the A&R men of the early 90s, it would have been a no. It would have been a hell no.
Yeah.
But here we are in the late 90s with Diddy as the #1 artist on Bad Boy. And of course, his album Forever was the company's first huge flop. But that set up step 2.
It was a flop,
the people
y'all.
who thought that he shouldn't be the #1 artist at Bad Boy, they either left or were fired. And that starts Diddy cleansing his circle. He doesn't want anyone around.
When he got rid of Biggie, his No Way Out album flopped. It flopped until the single I Be Missing You actually started catching steam. I think I Be Missing You was, let's see, was Diddy's song I Be Missing You a remix? Was Diddy's song I Be Missing You a remix or original song? Yeah. Yeah. It was a flop until Diddy decided to remix I'll Be Missing You. And then it was a remix. He remixed it with the sample. But there was an original I'll Be Missing You that flopped.
Around him who's not going to support him with whatever it is that he wants to do. He systematically eliminated anyone around him in his inner circle who might tell him no. Someone who used to work with him told me he had no one protecting him from his own worst impulses. That leads to him living like a debaucherous king. It's really dangerous to have someone like him surrounded by yes men and yes women. Someone like him who loved to push the limits of partying, sex, drugs. He was an ego-driven hedonist with no impulse control. He was a man who liked gay sex and was unable to be open about it.
Y'all remember this?
Chris and Pac were about to start their own label. Sean slammed his fist against the table, shouting, doesn't anyone have any fucking loyalty? On top of that, this nigga is making that move, and it should have been with me.
To sign with his record label, Rockefeller.
Guess he won't be leaving with that nigga to do their own label now. If he leaves, he takes all the money I invested into creating him. Sean sighs. But if he can't protect himself and something terrible does happen, then the money I would make off his death would blow away all the money we made so far. Sean, are you saying what I think you're saying? Sean continued, it's taxing on my resources to protect.
Yes, Forever. I'm sorry. Yeah. Forever, not No Way Out. I got the wrong album. Forever flopped. Diddy came out with an album, Forever. Forever flopped, not No Way Out. I got the songs mixed up.
People, someone that isn't 100% on my team can't get 100% of my protection. So to be clear, if something happened, XX made quotation marks with his fingers to one of your artists that was leaving your label anyway, it wouldn't be considered out of your control. Wait a minute, can they be talking about Biggie? Is Sean saying he won't protect Biggie? At this point, I was too young, too naive, too hungover to understand that this was not a lack of protection. This was a hit. This was a hit. We gotta have a party. His excitement was contagious. I was getting really excited too. Yes, a gender reveal. And he cut me off. Yes, of course, we're doing all of that. But everyone is going to want to sleep with you right before you give birth. My heart sank in my chest. Everybody is going to want to what?
This
Everybody.
is Diddy.
You know, Will, Jada, XXX. Sean, I'm having your baby. He verbally waved me off. I was going to be gang banged at 9 months pregnant. Oh my God.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. We can't make this up. When I met Tupac, Sean and I had an open relationship.
And for those who don't know, this came from Kim's last words, her book, which was proven to be a real memoir.
Yes, I slept with Pac. Shit, he was sexy. Sean didn't mind. Well, not until he tried to get Pac to join both of us.
Oh.
Pac was not good with that. This is where the relationship between them became strained. We were all in Sean's house. I was drinking. My baby's bad, isn't she? Pac threw me a sly smile. Hell yeah. You think you hit it better than me? I couldn't believe he disrespected me that way. Sean, what the fuck? Pac came to my defense. Damn, bro, you ain't got to do the sister that way. Tupac appeared upset behind Sean's words. I think my dick's bigger than yours. I bet I can make her come faster than you. What's up? Pac was appalled. What the fuck you talking about, nigga? I ain't trying to run no fucking train. Sean continued. What you scared of? Let's see who fucks better. Let her be the judge. Let's see who fucks better. Let her be the judge. I wasn't the only one upset. Pac shouted, nigga, you talking about pulling your fucking dick out? Sean was undaunted. What, you scared? Tupac simply left. Things were contentious since then. The two would not be in the same room. Pac avoided me as much as he did Sean. Months passed with only the tension between them. I walked into Sean's office. He was having the conversation. Sean sat across from Jimmy Henchman. Everybody know who Jimmy Henchman is?
And did I mention, promise to pay back?
Sorry.
Hear it.
Yeah.
If he just put a hit out on Tupac, Tupac didn't do well. He lost a testicle, but he survived.
See, Diddy was murking everybody. Anybody that was getting more anything than him, they had to go.
The last sentence of this chapter is, it was orchestrated, and Sean Puffy Combs was the orchestrator. Everyone is going to want.
I totally agree with you, Brian. It's crazy how the Kim Porter book came and went. Our attention span is getting thinner and thinner. Exactly. That's why I'm bringing it back, because there was so many facts in his book.
To sleep with you right before you give birth. Oh my God.
What?
Yeah. My heart sank in my chest. Everybody is going to want to what? Well, everybody. You know, Will, Jada, XXX. Sean, I'm having your baby. He verbally waved me off. This is the kind of thing I have to do in order to continue giving you this comfortable lifestyle. I was going to be gang banged at 9 months pregnant.
It was a ritual.
I was going to be gang banged at 9 months pregnant. I never had any bad vibe from the marvelous Faith Evans. We never talked about the wild time the three of us shared at one of Sean's parties. I gave her a hug. Hey girl, what's up? She addressed Sean saying, look, when you asked me to hook up with Chris, I understood. I understood you needed to control him. I felt honored that you would choose me to monitor one of your most valuable assets. I knew you would be good. Make the man feel loved. I don't feel good about all this, Sean. You know I'm as loyal as they come. But Sean, Chris and I had a child together. Sean leaned back. I'm gonna take care of you. You're not like Chris. You're loyal. Faith had a tear in her eye as she responded, he didn't have to die. Did she know? Was this her trying to find out if Sean intentionally killed Biggie? Sean lost it. That fat fuck and that other piece of shit I had you fuck? You had her fuck Pac? Sean glared at me and he answered, yes, fucking Pac. Those motherfuckers was going to try to start their own label and compete with me? Me? Mm-hmm.
Faith Evans is Diddy's secret agent. So he sent her to be with Biggie.
To be with Pac.
And since they're going to work together, she sent her to go be with Pac also.
After all.
And the same thing went with Nipsey Hussle. I'll say again, the same thing went with Nipsey Hussle. Lauren London and Cassie are best friends. Lauren London and Cassie have always been best friends. So Faith Evans was sent to be with Biggie, and Lauren London was sent to be with Nipsey Hussle. And those two women are the specific reason, or part of the reason, I will say, because Diddy is the other reason, why Biggie is dead and Nipsey Hussle is dead. But did y'all know about Lauren London? Lauren London is best friends with Cassie. And there is proof that Lauren London introduced Nipsey Hussle to Diddy. Did y'all know that? So Diddy allegedly got Biggie and Nipsey Hussle murked because of Faith and Lauren London. This man sends women to people.
All I did for that fat fuck, nah, I wasn't using resources to protect that motherfucker. No fucking way. I'll make sure you and CJ are taken care of. I hugged Sean, but I also knew he didn't have to send Chris to California. I wondered if he realized that he sentenced him to his death. But when I tried dating someone else, they would end up dead from pneumonia.
What?
I knew Sean was behind it. This was not a coincidence. He gets jealous of a guy and then they die of pneumonia. I could be next.
What the fuck?
If I am going to get out of this alive, I'm going to have to do something to make him stay away from me. I had a plan, but it's dangerous. I would get into the vault and get a couple of the tapes, take them home, make copies. This was my way out. Some of the tapes had things I would never have expected. The gay parties are one thing, but the young boys like Usher, Bow Wow, Justin, I would have never known.
Usher,
Things were okay
Bow
for a
Wow, and
while. I
Justin.
started dating again. It was almost normal until I got serious with someone. Then my boyfriend died of pneumonia.
No! No!
Then her boyfriend died of pneumonia. She's just like, I can't even move on.
Yep, that's what she said. I'm not feeling very well. Thank God the kids aren't here this weekend so I can rest. But why can't I get my doctor? Why won't he pick up the phone? Oh no. I called Sean from my bedroom. Sean picked up with an air of superiority in his tone that let me know it was too late for me. He spoke confidently into the phone. Hello, I screamed at him. You bastard. There's literally nothing I can do. I could only ask, did you ever love me? Instead of answering the question, he responded, the most important thing to me in the world is loyalty. I gave you everything. You went to someone else. You left me just like everyone else did. And you were going to expose me? I shouldn't have threatened him. I should have just published the book. I'm going to die. Like Heavy D, like Biggie, like Pac, like so many others. And it's because he is a monster, plain and simple. Then I shot out a group text. I let everyone know he got me. Then I called 911. As I sat here waiting for the ambulance, I'm writing this chapter and praying that I make it to the hospital. I don't feel like writing anymore. I may not be around to see it print. It's okay. I'm sitting.
Them, women cannot fellate as well as men. And he did not.
Diddy said that.
Use the word fellate. He's also someone who's used to getting away with murder. He shot someone in Club New York, blowing up Kid Cudi's car. May have poisoned Albie Shore. He might have killed Kim Porter. He's gotten away with so much that his sense of entitlement is through the roof. All of this coalesces to making him feel like I'm a king and making him think like he should act like a king and everyone around him should go along with it. There's kind of a Black Trump thing to Diddy. The entitlement, the egomania, the shameless self-marketing, the sense that I can get away with anything. The toxic masculinity. He's so Black Trump.
Did he just say the toxic masculinity? Okay, let me be quiet.
At some point, Diddy began trapping people into a sort of social corporate ecosystem whereby in order...
Look, I just want to say this. There is no toxic masculinity. That is so gay to say. It's toxic people. I'm sick of these weirdos calling men, instead of just saying that person is a toxic person, they just say toxic masculinity. The shit is so gay. It's gay. It is not toxic masculinity, you fucking weirdo. It is not. It is it is a toxic man. The man is toxic.
In order to be on back,
Demonizing masculinity is so freaking gay.
Bad boy, they had to do pretty much whatever he wanted. You get in the bad.
I think dudes who speak, act, and operate feminine in a feminine manner, like he has feminine mannerisms, he feels the need to demonize what he is not. And this is not an indictment on Torre, but he said what he just said. So I'm replying to his words, but I got to look at who said it. The only men who call masculinity toxic and say little stupid gay shit like toxic masculinity, they're always men who have feminine mannerisms. Just keep that in mind. The only time you hear a man say the words toxic masculinity is when the man has feminine mannerisms. And it's a feeling of, I have to demonize the thing that I am not. And I'm sick of you feminine acting men calling masculinity toxic because your ass ain't masculine. Just need to say that. I have no problem with Torre. I'm cool with Torre. My people is cool with Torre. I don't know him personally, but I just can't stand when feminine acting men say the word toxic masculinity. Let a masculine man say toxic masculinity. Because at least he knows what masculinity is, because his ass is masculine. You feminine acting ass men do not need to be saying toxic masculinity. You just mad because you're not masculine.
Bad boy mix, and he'll give you a little test. Take a shot. Take another shot. Let me touch your butt. Let me do this. Let me do that. Then maybe he'll throw something out. He'll ask you to do something either with him or with somebody else. If you do it, you're in, and you keep getting asked more and more things, and you keep compromising your principles more and more. If you say no, then you're out. And he might threaten to throw you out of the industry.
Layla says, Aaron, what about Diddy's kids? Fuck Diddy's kids, except for the little ones. I said that before. Fuck them. They ain't shit either. What about Diddy's kids? Do you believe they are as bad as him? They were raised by a sick psychopath who most likely was groomed. I've been said, fuck his kids, fuck his mama, except for the baby. Because all of them are complicit. Because let me tell you something. If I turned out to be like Diddy, my kids would snitch on me. My kids would be like, my daddy ain't shit. My daddy did it. My kids would take the stand on me. And it's not because they don't like me. It's because I raised them in a manner where you stand up for what you believe in. My kids would stand up for what they believe in. And if I'm running around doing crazy shit and I'm murking people and I'm ruining people's lives, my kids would take the stand against me because I raised my kids to have morals and to stand up for what they believe in, no matter who the person is on the other side. So for the fact that they keep coming to the damn courtroom crying after he done did all this shit to all these people, fuck them too, except for the baby, and fuck his mama.
Entirely, but if you're down, if he thinks you will play his nighttime games, then you can be in the club. But being in the club meant going along with what Diddy wanted. There was a lot of different things to that, but the rock bottom low of it all was the freak-offs.
French Montana is fruity. Meek Mill is fruity. What's the fat dude? DJ Khaled is fruity. The Bishop, what the fuck, the little fat dude. All them niggas was doing all that gay shit, or gay for pay shit, or whatever. They was involved in the shit because they was around Diddy so much. You can't be around Diddy and not witness gay shit. It's impossible. He's gonna grab your ass, grab your dick. He's gonna do something to you that is immoral, and you stay around him. You liked it, or you're gay for pay. I think Meek Mill is gay for pay and not gay, but I think he done did some gay shit because he needed money. Some of these niggas is gay for pay.
He's over here having sex with random prostitutes while Diddy watches, all for his pleasure, while she's struggling to get through a 10-album deal, which is a paper prison. A 10-album deal means she's got to give him 10 albums. He doesn't have to.
See, the thing with Cassie, you signed a 10-album deal. I'll say it again. You signed a 10-album deal. Why the hell did you sign a 10-album deal? So you got to hold yourself accountable for some of the shit too, Cassie.
To do anything. He does not have to promote her album. So if he doesn't give her a recording budget or promote her albums.
And then you got to remember this also. Cassie was with a record exec. What was the name of the guy that brought her into the music world? What's up, Magnum? I see you. Where you been? Nice to see you. I'm glad to see you. She was with Ryan Leslie. Ryan Leslie he gave her a hit. She had a hit already. So the reason why she got with Diddy was because the bitch was greedy. She could have stayed with Ryan Leslie and not be signed to nothing. She did all that shit on purpose. So I don't want to hear shit about no damn Cassie. Because Cassie did all that shit because she wanted the same amount of power that Diddy had. She could have stayed with Ryan Leslie and she had a hit with Ryan Leslie, who produced the shit. So the man that produced her, the man she was in a relationship with, she left the nigga to go get with a bigger dude and then didn't put no music out.
She makes no.
She didn't have to sign no 10 record deal.
Money. So she's controlled within his corporation, within his corporate structure, as somebody who's not making any money, which allows her to be completely controlled by him. I think Diddy was purposefully not allowing her to make money so he could control.
Sir, Diddy and Cassie were Bonnie and Clyde. We heard the audio of this broad threatening to murk a person 2 times. I didn't know you can die 2 times. This bitch said, if you don't give me the tape, I'm going to blank you, and then Diddy is going to blank you again. I'm like, you can die twice? Like, what the hell? This bitch invented something new. You can die twice. So no, Cassie's a junkie, a hoe. She left Ryan Leslie because she's a hoe. Cassie is trash.
Control her. If you're an artist and you don't put out an album and you don't tour, you don't make any money. It's so sad. Cassie was chasing a dream.
Cassie.
She wanted to be a singer and she was working on her second album, and she thought that this man, this music industry titan.
No. Shut up.
Yeah, you don't have to see it, but it's my life and I'll kill you.
Yeah, but
No, I will. If you don't show me right now, I will kill you and I will hide you and I will cut you up and put you in the dirt right now. Pull it up. If you have it, pull that up. Because if not, I'm going to kill you and then he's going to kill you again. So just do it. Pull that up right now. You got that? Pull that up. I'm going to kill you. You don't understand. I don't give a f. I've never killed anybody in my life, but I will kill you because you're with me. You're with me in my life right now. If I saw a video of you doing anything that you didn't want people to see, I would show you the video so you could tell me what the happened. You're playing games with me, telling me you saw some. Now you're saying you didn't see some. You're with me. I'm going to you up. I don't think you understand. And it's not going to be my hands, and it's not going to be blood on my hands. Someone else is going to do it. So you have to tell me.
So this junkie bitch was weaponizing Diddy's ability to murk people against people. Fuck Diddy, fuck Cassie, fuck Diddy's mama, and fuck Diddy's kids, except for the baby, because they have none. The baby is innocent. Fuck all of them. They all were in on it. Cassie, can't. No, it wasn't Cassie. Cassie's a junkie bitch. They were Bonnie and Clyde.
Even in his childhood. You want to hear about the rosebud that explains Diddy's life and his mindset? Rosebud. I mean, the one thing that defines who he is at his core that was there even when he was a kid. People who think about this stuff generally focus on one story. I think they've got the wrong story, but
all right, so let's move on. So let me read some stuff that's going on in court right now. Evidence is the testimony. This is what the judge said right here. The evidence is the testimony, the answers and the exhibits. Arguments are not evidence. You are the sole and exclusive arbiters of the facts. What is a reasonable doubt? It's based on your common sense after carefully weighing all the evidence. Y'all see that? The judge said that. Remember, I said the law, I said the jury is the law and not the law. Nobody cares about the law. The only thing that matters is what the jury thinks. He said it right here. You are the sole. And he's talking to the jury. The jury, according to the judge, you are the sole and exclusive arbiters of the facts. What is a reasonable doubt? It is based on your, not my, the jury, you 12 people. This man's life is in your hands because you are the law. The jury. It is based on your common sense. That means everything is open to the interpretation of the jury. Everything is open to the interpretation of the jury. Everything. All right, so let's get to this.
Legal prediction based on everything we've seen so far. I think that prosecution has built a clear and consistent case. Multiple women described being coerced into sexual acts, often while under the influence. We have staff.
Most women were not coerced in sexual acts, and there is text message proof, and there's testimony. Nan, one of those women, said anything that would put Diddy in prison because they both were paid handsomely by Diddy. What are you talking about, ma'am? Both women, Jane Doe and Cassie, are presently getting paid by Diddy. Why would they go up there and incriminate Diddy? Neither one of those women said anything incriminating about Diddy. Stop lying.
Insiders, employees, assistants, and Cassie stylists who testified to witnessing physical abuse, threats, and drug use. And
Cassie's stylist is a man, and yes, but he is not on trial for physical abuse. He beat all their asses, but he's not on trial for that.
bribery and hush money payments. We've seen actual evidence of tax.
But bribery in California? He's going under the jail for bribery in California. You bribe somebody in California and get caught, and there's a witness that sees that you bribe somebody, you don't life.
Messages, videos, and voice notes, plus FBI testimony tying it all together. And we all can't forget the video from 2016. And we've also heard testimony from Kid Cudi, Don Richard, and Capricorn Clark. And that added a lot of weight. They testified to arson, kidnapping, and violent threats, which supports RICO because those are predicate acts. And again, you only need 2 predicate acts. To
Hold on. Speaking of Kid Cudi.
Hello?
Cudi, you have to get up right now. Diddy's in your house.
What do you mean Diddy is in my house?
Cudi, get up. Diddy is in your house right now. He found out about us.
Wait, he found out about us. I thought you wasn't.
Get up right now.
I thought you wasn't with him no more. What?
Listen, I was messing with both of you guys at the same time. Just get up. He's in your house. He's crazy.
Why is he in my house? What the? How do you?
Cuddy, get up right now. Get up.
Oh my God.
Now, Kid Cudi is not at home. He's looking around like, what's going on? And all of a sudden, his dog sitter calls him. So he gets on the phone like, hey, somebody said that Diddy is in my house. She says, yes, he's in here and I'm in the closet. What? So he's in my house right now? Yes. What is he doing? I looked around the corner and he's sitting Indian style in front of your Christmas tree, opening Christmas presents. What? You're trying to tell me Diddy is sitting on the floor opening Christmas presents? Yes. Why? I don't know. All I know is I'm in a closet and I'm waiting for him to leave. So he hangs out with her and calls Diddy. He had Diddy's phone number because they were working together with music. So he's calling Diddy's phone and he answers the phone while he's in his house. Kid Cudi says, hey, are you in my house? Diddy says, what's up, Playboy? Yeah, I'm in your house. Where you at? He said, I'm on the way. Oh, okay. I'll wait for you. Why are you in my house? I'll just wait for you. Kid Cudi gets there. Nobody's there. The dog sitter is gone. The dog actually is injured. Apparently, Diddy injured his dog. The dog is locked in a bathroom and he's walking around his house to see what has been damaged or what's going on. Nothing is wrong with anything in his house except for unwrapped Christmas presents. So he's looking around like, what the fuck is happening? So he calls Diddy again. He's not answering. So after all this happens, he calls Diddy wanting to fight him. Diddy stops answering the phone. So he just said, forget it. Next thing you know, Diddy started calling him, trying to work things out. And he said, I don't want to talk to Diddy. I'm done with this mess. And he thinks everything is good until a month later where he's back on tour. And guess what? His dog sitter again calls him and says, I know what happened last time, but I got to tell you what's happening now. He's like, what's happening now? Your car is on fire. What? Somebody blew up your car. It doesn't look like this Diddy stuff is over with. He blew up my Porsche? What's up, Justin? Everybody hit the like button as you come in. Everybody hit the like button as we come in. We're waiting on the Diddy verdict, and it looks like they're deliberating, and I'll give you some more information in a second. What the fuck? So since a month went by and all of this stuff died down, and now his car just blew up, he made a decision to say, I'm gonna call Diddy and just figure all this out. I don't care about what happens. I'm not gonna keep going through this mess. So he calls up Diddy and said, hey, we need to meet. Diddy says, what's up, Playboy? All right, cool, we can meet. Meet me at Soho. So he goes to Soho and meets Diddy. As Kid Cudi walked in, he seen Diddy, and Diddy was standing there looking out the window with his arms behind his back like he's some Marvel supervillain. And Diddy, hold on. We just got some information. Breaking news. We just got some information. This just happened. We have received a note from the jury. They have elected juror number 5 as the foreperson, that is the leader. It is signed by juror number 5, and there is an agreement on the laptop. It will be taken to them. Now we'll have a longer break. Okay, I thought I just seen something. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So I thought that was it. Note, during this court adjournment, at least for now, Sean Combs is still in the courtroom. Family members are standing in the second room. Combs goes back to speak with them, holding his hand behind his back. Then back to the table, staring at his laptop. Okay. When I seen we received a note, I was like, oh shit. So at this particular point right now, we have received a note from the jury that they have elected juror number 5 as the foreperson. That is the person who's going to stand up and say, on this count, guilty, on this count, not guilty, on this count, and all this other stuff. It is signed by juror number 5. So shout out to juror number 5. Don't know who juror number 5 is, but all of the intention is going to be on them. He calmly walks over to him, asks him to sit down, offers him some water, and we all know if Diddy offers you anything, do not drink it. So he doesn't drink the water, and Diddy just looks at him and says, yo, I thought we was homies. And Kid Cudi says, I thought y'all were broken up. Nah, bro, we were still together.
we were literally doing freak offs at the time that you were dating her. Cassie was actually playing both of us. Then Cassie walks in the room, sits next to Diddy, and he's looking at Cassie like, and Cassie just looked at him and said, we fell in love and things happened. So he just looked at Diddy, they dapped each other up, and then he said, by the way, what are we gonna do about my car? You just blew my car up, bro. And Diddy just looked at him and said, I don't know what you're talking about. So he just leaves, and like 2 years later, he runs into Diddy at the same Soho house in LA again, and Diddy walks up to him and apologizes and said, hey, sorry for everything that happened, but you know, we cool? And he said, yeah, we cool. This has to be one of the craziest stories I've ever heard in my life. And I just want to reiterate, Kid Cudi, said on the stand that he felt like Cassie played him and Diddy. She was messing with both of them at the same time, but she told Kid Cudi that it was only him, and she told Diddy that she wasn't messing with nobody. So when they...
All right, so let's get back to this.
Now, look at the defense. They're not denying the sex or the drugs or the freak offs. They're just saying, hey, it was consensual, or it was domestic abuse, or these witnesses are bitter exes or people looking for money, and that this wasn't a criminal enterprise. It was just chaos over the last couple decades.
Yo, Brown Sugar is hilarious. Let me find out Diddy is on a laptop watching this live on YouTube. Yo, that is hilarious.
But they haven't really offered any real alternative explanations for the text messages, the videos, or the consistency across all these stories. And Diddy's not testifying, though the jury should not take that into consideration because...
So just for the record, y'all, they adjourned and they are at lunch. So right now, they did not go home. They're on lunch. Right now, the jury is at lunch, deliberating, or either they're eating their lunch in the room while they're deliberating.
Everyone has a right to not take the stand in their own trial. So here's what I think as a little baby lawyer. A full acquittal, I think, is very unlikely. I think there's too much evidence to fully acquit him of any crime. I think they just can't. I just think that would be crazy. Now, do I think a split verdict could happen? I think that's very possible. I think that he could be convicted on sex trafficking, but the jury may hesitate on RICO if they struggle with the enterprise definition. So I could see a split verdict at one point. I definitely think sex trafficking, I think they could convict. I think as well with transportation for the purpose of prostitution, I think we could definitely show, and there's evidence out there that he allegedly did that. By me covering this case, I've been able...
And remember, like I said, the whole thing about the prostitution, nobody is going to put a man in prison for paying somebody to blank his girl. Like, that's not a prisonable offense for anybody. That's nobody's doing that.
Able to really track the facts and the evidence and the testimony that's been admitted. And I think that the government has hit most of the legal elements that they need to get a conviction here. Drop your verdict predictions in the comments and follow along.
We meet up at a coffee shop and play this fun dating card game. We'll have fun and see if we're compatible all at the same time.
Why my dating card game? Why my card game?
It's called Deeper Discussions.
I'm down.
Okay, meet you at 6.
Fellas, buy this card game. Ladies, buy this card game. Buy about 2 or 3 card games. The main reason why people can't stay together isn't because they don't like each other no more. It's actually because their present family issues come up or their past family issues come up. But when you play Deeper Discussions, you'll be able to understand a person's family issues up front.
This game can be played with either 2 people or an entire group. So have fun.
Question number 1. Name a time when money was the main factor why a relationship went bad.
Deeper Discussions Dating Edition. Again, these cards are good for vetting a potential boyfriend, a potential girlfriend, a potential husband, a potential wife. The texture of these cards are so soft and silky, by the way. Like
they ain't gonna get
really
wore out.
Durable.
A dating card game for introverts who have a hard time asking the much needed compatibility questions. Deeper Discussions, the card game.
Verdict drops, I will be here reporting on it. I'll be giving my first initial...
The link to buy my card games is under this video. The link to buy either one of my card games is under this video. And the link is also in the chat if you have not bought one of my card games yet.
Thought. Stay tuned. Thanks for sticking with me.
My friends covering the Diddy trial have told you how great
You gotta turn this up a little bit.
Closing was. But after the closing, the government got another chance to rebut what the defense had just said. One last rebuttal. People have not told you how powerful that was. The government's lead attorney, Maureen Comey, daughter of Jim Comey, gave a powerful, passionate, rousing, intense rebuttal. She made me think Diddy is done. Comey said ST is getting someone to say yes to doing it through force or coercion. That's it. One time is enough. You don't need to believe that all the freak-offs are ST. The only question was one of them forced or coerced. One freak-off where force or coercion was used to get to yes. That's enough. One instance is enough to convict. She said, do you really think Cassie wanted an escort to in her mouth? She said that one several times. She said when Cassie was in a hotel in Long Island doing a freak-off and she was beaten so badly that she had an open wound on her face, and then she OD'd, and as soon as they brought her back, they went back into a freak-off. That's ST. She was clearly forced. She just OD'd. She said when Jane was in LA and telling him, I do not want to do any more hotel nights. And he said, fine, just come to New York, fly to New York, and it'll be just you and I. Meanwhile, he's on the phone calling Paul, setting up another hotel night. So when she's in the air and when she gets there and it's too late to say no, now he's like, haha, we're doing a hotel night. She was forced into doing it. That's ST. This is not what I thought it was. One instance is enough to convict. Jane started a fight with him, but he beats her. Jane started a fight with him, but he beat her viciously for hours. And right after the beating ends, they go right into a freak-off. Maureen said he literally beat her into submission. He made Jane pay for fighting him.
Key word, and I'm not taking sides, but key word or key phrase, he made her pay for fighting him. Hence why I say this is junkie shit, because they are junkies fighting each other over whatever it is that they wanted.
By being with Anton. Did she want to have sex with an escort right after being beaten for hours by this man? Of course not. And at that freak-off, Jane told him, I don't want to do this. He said, is this coercion? And then he gave her an ecstasy pill and said, now get back out there. I think he's going down for ST.
As you know, Diddy's life is going to land in the hands of 12 jurors, so right now I think it's the perfect time to break down a little bit more information about the jurors that sit on the jury. One of the big things about the jury, there is nobody under the age of 30. These are all middle-aged people that sit on the jury that are going to determine Diddy's fate. We have a total of 8 men who sit in this jury, so we're going to go ahead and get into their ethnicity. We have a black man, a white man, a white man, a white man, another white man, a black man who was later changed for a white man when he was kicked off the jury. Then we have a white man and an Asian man. When I say white, they could be of different descent, so they could be European, French, Italian, we don't know. This is in no particular order, but one of the men is a massage therapist and also an actor who is 69 years old. Then we have a 31-year-old man who is an investment analyst. And we have a 39-year-old man who is a social worker. Then we have a 51-year-old man who is a scientist.
Who do y'all think is juror number 5, though?
We have a 68-year-old man who is retired but who worked in finance. We have another retired 68-year-old man who worked in telecommunications. Then we have a 67-year-old man who is a logistics analyst. We also have a 39-year-old social worker. Now, juror number 6, who we know got kicked off of the jury, was a black man who is 41 years old who worked in communications at a prison. The man who
So I got some more information. On S trafficking, counts 2 and 4, transport means to take or convey from one place to another. Reckless disregard satisfies the statute. Reckless disregard. The deliberation, the deliberate closing of eyes. I don't know what that means, but deliberate closing of eyes, you must be unanimous on at least one specific instance of S trafficking. And that is where the problem comes in at. I'll say it again. You must be unanimous on at least one specific instance of S trafficking. That's the reason why I say he is not going to be guilty of S trafficking, because they're not going to be unanimous on that. On counts 3 and 5, knowingly transporting or arranging for the transportation of an individual for purposes of an act of prostitution, buying or arranging a ticket is enough. So let's say it again. And it says, oh shit, prostitution does not need to be the main purpose. Huh? So on counts 3 and 5, knowingly getting on a plane and arranging for the other person to give you some ass and paying said person for said booty cheeks, arranging the ticket is enough. So that means, I'm never going to go to jail. So to you men out here who be flying chicks in trying to get some ass, get her to buy the ticket and you cash app her or you pay her when she gets here for the ticket. That's not S trafficking. S trafficking is arranging the ticket. I've never arranged for a woman to be here. I will get the woman to pay her own way and I cash app her the money back. So I can't go down for S trafficking. All right, is more. Judge says prostitution is engaging sexual activity for money or its equivalent. You must be unanimous on at least one specific act of transportation with intent to engage in prostitution. On venue, the U.S. must prove at least one act occurred in SDNY counties. In Southern District of New York, 8 counties. That statement, Mr. Let Go, is true. If you pay for her ticket, you are guilty of yes. So I don't pay for the ticket. I cash app her some money. So I can cash app her some money that is more than a ticket. So you can't prove that is a ticket. If the ticket is $350, you cash app her $450. And you're like, and then in the cash app, it says, for what reason? Help with car note. You don't say plane ticket in the cash app. You say help with car note or help with rent. See what I'm saying?
Replace that juror is a white man who is 57 years old and he's an architect. And now we're going to talk about the 4 women who sit on the jury. The first woman is a 30-year-old deli worker. The next is a 42-year-old woman who works as a dietary aide. The next juror is a 43-year-old woman who works as a physician assistant. And the last woman who makes up this jury of 12 people is a 74-year-old woman who is a former treatment coordinator at a charity for blind people. 9 of these jurors are single, but some of them live with their domestic partner.
All right, fold to fallacy says, do you think if the jury saw the hotel video, they will naturally lower their personal thresholds and be more willing to vote guilty? In my opinion, the answer is no, because they've watched that video at least 20 times already. And there's a possibility that they are now desensitized to the video. Like, it's like seeing a car accident 12 times. The first time you're like, oh my God. But the 12th time you're like, okay, whatever. Right. So it's a possibility that they have gotten desensitized. And here's the problem. And here's the reason why I don't think they view Diddy as this violent person. Because they talk more about the baby oil and the Astroglide and the peeing on the women more than the actual violence. So what we end up doing as humans, we start attaching a symbol to a person, place, or thing. So because they kept talking about baby oil and Astroglide and all this freaky stuff, is a good possibility that the jury identifies Diddy as a freak, gay, cuck dude who likes warming up baby oil instead of this abusive, evil, mean, terrible person. Because they spent way too much time talking about baby oil and Astroglide. Did you buy Astroglide? Did you set up this hotel room? The entire case was not about Diddy being a terrible person. The entire case was about him setting up hotel rooms with warm baby oil and Astroglide. So the identity that they see Diddy as is a freaky boy that likes watching dudes bang their girl, not an abuser. Do you agree or disagree in the chat? Drop agree or disagree in the comment section.
3 of them are engaged, and 6 out of the 12 have children. Most of them are college graduates that have really good degrees. Nearly half of the jurors said that they listen to classical music, and a few of the older ones say that they listen to rock and roll.
So some just came out. Judge says we are in the home stretch in weighing expert testimony. You should not accept it just because I allowed it. What? You should not accept it just because I allowed it. That don't make no sense. The testimony of government officials are not worth of more or less weight than any other witness. Judge says witnesses given immunity should be examined with greater. Can that ordinary witnesses? Can that? I don't know what that means. Okay, so I'm gonna assume what he said was witnesses given immunity should be examined greater than ordinary witnesses. Carts and summaries, demonstrative aids are not evidence and will not be available to you in the jury room. Judge speaks again. Certain witnesses were permitted to be identified as pseudonyms. That should bear on your evaluation and of the credibility. How? You're saying they're not as credible because they're Jane Does? I'm a little confused. The defendant had no responsibility to testify, and he did not. You must not attach any significance to that. The next judge says voluntary intoxication may negate the intent requirement of RICO. Voluntary drinking or taking of some substance may negate the intent requirement of the RICO predications. This is what the judge is saying. The judge is saying this. Uncalled witnesses, you have heard names of people not called as witnesses. Each side had an equal opportunity to call them. Do not speculate or consider this. Judge, any notes you took are only for you. You, no outside reading. You are to consider only what was presented within these four walls of this courtroom. You may not communicate about this case, including on X, Instagram, or YouTube. If you see this, tell my deputy. Next, judge not to be swayed by biases. Do not be swayed by biases, is what he's saying. You got to understand, inner city press is typing fast, including implicit bias. These hidden thoughts can impact what you hear and see, and now we remember it. That implicit bias is when you have your own interpretation of a person internally, and what you see is now interpreted by you differently because you think somebody is amazing or you think somebody is terrible. That's what implicit bias is. You will now retire to consider the case. Each of you must decide the case for himself or herself after deliberating. All this is a few minutes ago. Judge, your verdict must be unanimous. The judge saying this. I thought you was B.O.B. for a second. The judge is saying this. Your verdict must be unanimous. So Chris Hocker, now that you know I am Mr. Let Go and not B.O.B., subscribe to the channel, please, and thank you. And make sure to hit the like button. Your verdict must be unanimous. If you are divided, it's important. Do not report the specifics. Your foreperson, which is jury member number 5, will send you out any notes, and any verdict, any communication with the court should be in writing. Judge, the alternates do not have to be here. Okay. A lot of information is coming in. The judge is saying, do not read any news report. Yeah. We said that already. Let's see. Here is the verdict sheet. Only if you find the defendant guilty of count 1, answer as to each predicate. Not proved or not proved or proved. I don't know what that means. Not proved or proved. I don't know what that means. He said it twice. And did sex trafficking involve sex trafficking of Cassie or Jane? Count 2, 3, 4, 5, not guilty or guilty. Judge says, from now on, your schedule is on your own. You will be provided with food and meals. Now the marshal will swear you in. I solemnly swear, blah, blah, blah. Now the jurors can head back into the jury room. All rise. All right. ASUA Johnson. We object. We object to the subject lines of BlackBerry messages. All right. So, judge, let's have only natural lists go to the jury. Okay, I don't know what they're talking about. All right, so that's where we are right now. Let me load it again. Note, during court adjournment, this is 30 minutes ago, at least for now. Okay. All right. So no new information, but It looks like they are deliberating in the back and they're eating food on lunch. It's 12:30. And it's a possibility that when they come out from eating lunch, the verdict will be here. So for everybody watching, this has just started. They're not leaving to go home. They're in the room to deliberate and they're eating lunch. So everybody stay, share this video, hit the like button for those who have not. And we're going to watch this video. Maybe in a couple of minutes, the jury is going to come out with a verdict.
Three of them specified that they like 90s hip-hop music. And a lot of people forget there was one big question asked to all of these jurors. The big question that all of these jurors were asked was if they themselves or anybody in their family or that they were close to ever suffered from SA or anything along those lines that would make them give a biased answer in this case. Very important to note that this question in particular was asked to these jurors off the record. That way the press couldn't write this down and everybody know about it.
And it's 8 counts, just so y'all know. There are 8 different counts.
We don't really know if any of these jurors or their family members dealt with SA. Very interesting to get to know more about each one of these jurors because their backgrounds could play a lot into their decisions. I thought this was the perfect time to break down Diddy's whole trial jury because right now we know that his life is going to lay in the hands of these 12 jurors. But y'all let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo used his closing argument to call the case against Sean Diddy Combs a trial of lifestyle and called the evidence brought against his client badly exaggerated. Agnifilo argued prosecutors twisted Combs' drug use and swinger lifestyle into a sex trafficking and racketeering case that could put the music mogul in prison for the rest of his life. The defense acknowledges Combs beat his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura, but argue his violent behavior does not justify the charges he faces. For nearly 5 hours Thursday, Assistant U.S. Attorney Christy Slavic walked the jury through the 5 counts against Combs. The most serious racketeering conspiracy, which includes sex trafficking, drug distribution, and arson.
The tougher charges are going to be the RICO racketeering charges and the sex trafficking charges. I think the government has a bit of an uphill battle proving those. That's really going to depend upon how credible they found the government's chief witnesses.
Brown Sugar says, stick around, get your popcorn or lunch, and join the verdict viewing. Hit the like button and please share the video. Thank you. Free and easy way to support and contribute to the page is hitting the like button. Thank you so much, Brown Sugar.
Prosecutors allege Combs used threats, drugs, and violence to make former girlfriends, including Ventura and Jane, a woman who testified under a pseudonym, participate in so-called freak-offs with male escorts.
Cassie and Diddy, Brene, I think it's Brene or Brenny, says Cassie and Diddy, Bonnie and Clyde. Yes, 1,000%. 1,000%. Bonnie and Clyde. They were just 2 junkies just fighting each other.
During the 7-week trial, prosecutors brought 34 witnesses to the stand. The defense did not call on any witnesses, and Combs did not testify.
Most of the time when the defendant takes the stand, it doesn't end up well because it gives the prosecution a chance to essentially retry their entire case through the cross-examination of the defendant. So the case is really turned upon whether or not Mr. Combs' conduct, while morally reprehensible, crossed the line into criminality.
And the defense told jurors Combs' accusers are looking to drain him of his wealth through lawsuits. A day after Combs settled a suit with Ventura for $20 million, federal law enforcement officers opened their criminal investigation. If convicted, Combs could face 15 years to life in prison.
Christina Quorm is testifying right now. Not herself in person, of course. Prosecutors in the Diddy case are having a paralegal who studied hundreds of pages of her texts read Quorm's text. So in essence, she is testifying. Her knowledge is coming into evidence in this trial. We're hearing conversations about Quorm telling assistants to set up for freak-offs, make sure there's Gatorade and chicken noodle soup, go get $4,000 in cash, make sure that Paul or Anton or whoever is able to get into the room. She's helping to set these things up. She has full knowledge of what's going on. Diddy's predilection for S-workers was well known and joked about among the team. One of Diddy's employees texted Quorm to say that he'd seen one of the escorts in the lobby because it was obvious when they passed through the lobby who they were.
You said the audio's low. Sorry about that. Some of these audios are, some of these videos are low. Somebody wanted to know what are the charges. So it's 8 charges, but now it's saying it's 5. So I don't know if it's 5 or 8. But one is racketeering conspiracy. The count alleges that Combs conspired with others to commit a pattern of illegal activities within his business enterprise, potentially including kidnapping, arson, bribery, forced labor, sex trafficking, witness tampering, and drug-related offenses. And that is what I'm saying. Hold on, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, those are the actual charges right there. So I'll say it again: kidnapping, arson, bribery, forced labor, sex trafficking, witness tampering, and drug-related offenses. And a drug-related offense is the transporting drugs for the intent to distribute. Hold on a second. Okay, there we go. Okay. So, and I want to explain this a little bit. Transportation for prostitution of Ventura. The court alleges that Combs transported Cassie Ventura and other commercial S-workers because state lines for prostitution from approximately 2009 to 2018. S trafficking of Jane Doe. This charge relates to another accuser referred to as Jane Doe, and alleges Combs trafficked her using similar means from around 2021 to 2024. Transportation or prostitution of Jane and others. The count alleges that Combs transported Jane and other commercial sex workers from 21 to 2024. While the term 8 counts may have been mentioned in some reports, this likely refers to 8 underlying racketeering acts, which makes sense. Let's see. That prosecutors presented. Okay, so that is what I'm getting understanding of. Okay.
Quorm texts back with 4 laughing face emojis and then says, by the way, how long is he gonna stay awake? And the other guy goes, LOL, I'm guessing till tomorrow night. So they're just openly joking about him doing multi-day sexcapades in the middle of the week.
It's not against the law.
Joking around with the chief of staff about your boss having a predilection for S-workers and multiple day sexcapades? That's a thing y'all are joking about? That's fucking weird. So Diddy's chief of staff is key to helping set up and conceal these freak-offs. I don't think it's legal to have people on your staff who are helping you do criminal things. I think that's what the government is talking about here. Quorm
If it's
also
considered
knows
criminal.
Diddy is threatening to send freak-off tapes of Jane to her son's father. She knows that. She's commenting on that. So she knows there's a blackmail threat in the air. Her phone also shows her getting a text from Diddy telling the head of security to go to Quorm, pick up 15 pills of Molly before he gets on a flight to Miami. That's drug trafficking.
What's up, Moeezy?
Maybe Quorm said, I refuse to testify, but they are getting her voice in this trial.
Diddy's former chief of staff, Christina Quorm, has just been named as a co-conspirator. Y'all have been wanting to know, how is Diddy being charged with RICO? He can't be charged by himself, and I was telling you guys for the longest that the assistants that they're naming, that the chief of staff that they are naming, that the security that they are naming are Diddy's co-conspirators. Now we have the very first one being confirmed by the federal government, and I was waiting on this. Today in court, the government called Christina Quorm an agent or a co-conspirator, marking the first time that she has been referred in that way. Their language on what they said about Christina
What's up, Rodriguez?
Quorm also implied.
Everybody make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to hit the like button. Drop your city in the chat. Let me know where you at. To the new people who just came in, drop your city in the chat. Let me know where you at. And make sure to hit your like button.
That she likely reached an agreement with prosecution and will testify against Diddy. And this is exactly what I thought was happening. Of course, Diddy has co-conspirators. They're not going to charge him with RICO with.
So this is from a minute ago. She did not take the stand. And I'm not exactly sure why. She may be in witness protection. Oh, and by the way, big homie CC, I don't know if y'all heard, big homie CC just left the country. Are y'all aware of that? Big homie CC just left the country.
Out co-conspirators, but you can guarantee most of them are talking because they are not going to want to risk doing life in prison if Diddy is found guilty. Now, Christina Quorm is one person that has been named from pretty much every single witness that we have heard from. They also confiscated Christina Quorm's cell phone after they raided Diddy's Miami mansion, and they found them at the Miami airport. One of Diddy's former assistants, Philip Pines, who we just recently heard his name being brought up because this is one of the aliases that Diddy would use to check into the hotels for these freak-offs, testified to the grand jury for them to help them arrest Diddy on this indictment. When he testified to the grand jury, he had a whole bunch of text messages from Christina Quorm telling him to set up these freak-offs, clean up these freak-offs, bring substances to Diddy, and more. It finally looks like we're going to have KK coming to the front, and we've all been waiting to hear this. And the second that these co-conspirators testify against Diddy, this is when it all starts going down. My own personal opinion has been that the feds are going to end with these co-conspirators because they are going to lock in their case against Diddy. And now it's seeming like everything that I thought was going to happen and everything that I have talked about for months is coming true. Because the federal government has now confirmed that Christina Quorm is one of the co-conspirators.
Stephanie says, love your coverage from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Great dissection of information. Thank you so much, Stephanie. I appreciate that. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That was sweet. Shout out to Grand Rapids, Iowa.
And also, it's sounding like she's probably going to flip on Diddy. But y'all let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
I have been wondering this throughout the entire trial. Two people, Christina Quorm, D-Rock. Every person on the stand basically has mentioned them. Shocking text messages, really, particularly from Quorm. Why haven't these people been subpoenaed?
Sean Combs is accused of racketeering conspiracy, which basically is an agreement among multiple people to commit bad acts. And some of those people that he's supposedly agreeing with are these people who worked for him, who enabled him, who cleaned up his messes afterwards. It is a mystery to me as to whether these other people, whether there are deals that they have with the government, which they may very well have. And that's why they turned over evidence like text messages and so forth. And that's why the government has it or not. I mean, we just don't know at this point. Might other prosecutions follow? That's always possible.
Let's unpack why Christina Quorm, often described as Combs' right-hand woman, hasn't taken the stand in this federal trial. I'm an attorney and I read what happened, so you don't have to. So let's start off with who is Christina.
Felicia said that I missed anything. What's up, Felicia? No, you had, well, yeah, you missed a lot. We talked about a whole lot. So yeah, you did miss a lot. So make sure to start from the beginning. We cover a whole lot. But right now, the jury is at lunch. They're probably going to be at lunch for another 20, 30 minutes, probably. And they're at lunch deliberating. and probably another 15 to 30 minutes, they may come out with a verdict. So we all are waiting for the verdict in the next 15 to 30 minutes.
Christina Quorm served as Combs' chief of staff for years. Multiple prosecutors and media outlets describe her as a central figure in his inner circle. Text messages and VIP coordination attributed to her. And although she isn't on the stand, federal prosecutors have repeatedly introduced records of her communications, like texts coordinating these freak-off events and contacting ex-girlfriends such as Cassie and Jane. So why hasn't there been a testimony yet? Quorm isn't facing criminal charges. She's only being named in related civil suits, so there's technically no obligation for her to testify. Her lawyers have denied all allegation, and it's common for high-profile staff not to testify unless subpoenaed or strategically needed. The prosecutors may feel that the documentary evidence is sufficiently strong, and calling her could open the door to new lines of defense. Prosecution summary witnesses, like the FBI agent, detail Quorm's role using charts and direct quotes, effectively linking her to the enterprise without actually putting her on the stand. The defense lawyers may opt not to force her testimony in order to avoid risk or spotlight. If either side concludes that a live testimony from Quorm could shift the narrative, either to bolster intent or highlight inconsistencies, they may still call her. But for now, no subpoena, no charges, and no direct testimony. Bottom line is, Quorm appears throughout the trial via documentary evidence. She's a key figure, but she's not compelled to testify. And her absence may be a legal tactic rather than an oversight. Prosecution is expected to rest their case this Friday. So let me know. Do you think that her testimony would change the jury's view?
I don't understand, even though she just explained it, but I don't understand why they wouldn't want Christina Quorm on there. There's a possibility that if they brought Christina Quorm on the stand, because of her level of intelligence and preparedness, because it's literally her job to be prepared for everything, where she may end up looking like a character witness for Diddy. Because the thing about it is, if Christina Quorm is guilty, she was exonerated. That's what I'm saying. I don't know why. Hold on, let me see. Why was Christina Quorm exonerated from the Sean Diddy Combs trial? Let's see. Because I just don't understand that. Why? Okay. Based on the available information, Christina Quorm, Sean Diddy Combs' former chief of staff has not been exonerated from the Diddy Combs trial. She was initially named as a defendant in producer Rodney Jones' lawsuit against Combs, with allegations that she aided and abetted Combs' alleged sex activities and helped facilitate drug procurement. While some claims against Combs were dismissed in the lawsuit, see, they're talking about a lawsuit. Let's see. Why was Christina Quorm exonerated from the Diddy Sean Combs criminal trial? The question of Christina Quorm being exonerated from the Diddy criminal trial is misleading based on the information provided. Let's see. Potential witness or cooperator. There are discussions including that Quorm, described as Diddy's right-hand woman and chief of staff, might be a key witness or potential cooperator in the investigation. 2, allegations of facilitation. Like she facilitated everything, in other words. Some reports allege that she facilitated Diddy's alleged criminal activities, which she actually did. She's the one who set up all these king nights and stuff. It was her that facilitated everything, including drug distribution among drug staff and sex workers. Next, safety concerns. This is what we was talking about. There are also concerns about her safety and suggestions that she may have gone into witness protection or could be deleted to prevent her from testifying against powerful entities. In summary, the provided search, Christina Quorm has been exonerated instead of suggesting. Okay. So yeah, it's a possibility that she is in witness protection already. So she may just be gone, but why would you be in witness protection if you're not a goddamn witness? So make this make sense, y'all. The trial is over. Why would you be in witness protection when you did not take the stand as a witness? Can anybody explain that part to me? Why would they put you in witness protection when you're not a witness? You didn't take the stand. She knows too much, especially all about those old white women. They're very powerful. Okay, if you're in witness protection, you're in witness protection. When are you going to be a witness? Can anybody explain it to me? Is it more charges coming to somebody else? Okay, let's break this down or just hypothesize for a second. What if she is in witness protection to be a witness of somebody else? What if Diddy snitched on somebody else? And they're going after somebody else after they get Diddy. So think about this. And this is just conjecture because I don't know. Say Diddy snitched on somebody way up, right? Clive Davis or somebody, right? And because of that, Diddy is that means Diddy would have agreed to a plea deal. That's the case, though. But let's just say that happened. And now they need Christina Quorm to testify against this new person after they convict Diddy. I think the only way that can actually happen is if Diddy takes a plea deal, and which I said Diddy was going to take a plea deal. I don't know. Probably Diddy, Jay-Z or Ye. They're not big enough to go through all this with. I think it's going to have to be Clive Davis or one of those people. Somebody white. So, I don't know. So, let me check. Where are we? Anything else? Jury sends note to Combs' trial. There's a note from the jury. The note. Okay, this was 5 minutes ago, y'all. Jury sends note in Combs' trial. There's a note from the jury. The note was first handed to the prosecution, then to the defense attorney, Mark Agnifilio. Combs is back in the courtroom and reading the note. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Something happening. So everybody stay here. Something is happening. All right. I'll say this again. Jury sends note in Combs' trial. There's a note from the jury. The note was first handed to the prosecution, then to the defense attorney, Mark Agnifilio. Combs is back in the courtroom and reading the note. So everybody drop popcorn emojis in the chat. Drop popcorn emojis in the chat. Everybody spam the chat with popcorn emojis. Something is literally happening. And this is not clickbait. Something is happening. This was from 5 minutes ago. This is not clickbait. This is literal breaking news. Jury sends a note to the prosecution as well as the defense. Everybody drop popcorn emojis. Spam the chat with 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 popcorn emojis. What do y'all think is happening? And if anybody wants to come up and be a part of this monumental situation, because it looks like it's about to happen. I dropped the StreamYard link in the chat if anybody wants to come up. Why popcorn and Magnum ICU? You are hilarious. Look what Magnum ICU just dropped. You are hilarious. She just dropped popcorn emojis along with eggplant emojis. Why? I don't even want to ask. Spam the chat with popcorn emojis, y'all. Spam the chat with popcorn emojis. Something is about to happen. Let's see. All right. Nothing's happening yet. Hold on. Let me check something real quick. This is getting crazy. Hold on. Let me see if something is happening over here. All right, hold on, y'all. We're waiting. Something is happening. Somebody's reading a note. We don't know what the note is. All right. Let's see. In court today, jurors are now deliberating federal court final arguments. All right. Jury sends note in Combs' trial. There's a note from the jury. Okay. So CNN is reporting the same thing. While the jury, I'm just looking to see what's going on with the note. While the jury deliberates, send CNN. Okay. Combs. Okay. All right. So nothing going on over there. CNN is waiting. Oh, thank you so much for the $5 super sticker, Brown Sugar. Thank you. Drop a super chat, drop a cash app. Cash app is scroll across the bottom of the screen. If you're enjoying this coverage, buy me lunch. Cash app is $AARON 1000. $AARON 1000. Aaron 1000. If you're enjoying this coverage, if you're enjoying hanging out with all of us, make sure to contribute to the channel. It is a request for mayo. Those lunch sandwiches are dry. All right, hold on. Let me see. What is this? Hold on. Let's see. All right, let's see what's going on over here. All right, hold on, y'all. Let me share my screen. We may have some action over here because right now, y'all, something is happening. It is on the popping right now. All right, but y'all don't see my screen. Oh, okay. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to take something off. unshare my screen and share my screen again. All right, something is happening, y'all. So let's see. File. Okay. All right. So let's see what's going on, y'all.
Going to be, criticized immediately by everybody, including the press, as being extremely thin. So if you don't have witnesses, if you don't have a defense that's really worth it, do you want to go up there and put up a defense that's hyphenated at best, and then have people criticize that? Because then when you don't put up a defense, you could point at the prosecution and say, I don't have anything to do here. I don't.
All right, I got a new tweet. Got a new tweet. This new tweet says, what's happening? Okay. This new tweet says, Sean Combs is back in the courtroom. His lawyers are huddled behind him in discussion. There has been a jury note. Something is happening. So Sean Combs is in the courtroom and his lawyers are behind him, huddled up in a discussion. Something is happening, y'all. Waiting on the judge to read and everybody to come in. Y'all, I think it's happening. I think it is officially happening.
I don't really have a role except to defend my client. The prosecution was the one that was supposed to prove their case, and they failed to do so. So, I don't think that it may have been a mistake. Only they would know, because we don't know who they have, who the defense has talked to, what witnesses they have. So we really don't know.
Let me bring back in Sierra Gillespie as we're waiting for this juror note, more explanation about what this juror note is. Sierra, you can let us know if you found out any further information about it. But more importantly, I want to ask you, you're outside the courthouse right now. There was quite a scene during the course of this trial. During opening statements, Kanye showed up at one point during the course of this trial. We all remember when Kid Cudi had to testify. What's happening right now outside the courthouse? Have you seen any notable figures? Are there people either in support of Diddy, against Diddy? I mean, this is now the start of jury deliberations. Theoretically, we could get a verdict today. Maybe unlikely, probably unlikely. But what are you seeing outside the courthouse right now?
Yeah, this is a good question, because we have seen a couple of high-profile people like Kanye West, for example, or Kid Cudi, or of course Cassie, one of the star witnesses in all of this. As of right now, no celebrities that are here. Actually, we don't even have that much of a crowd. I mean, I guess I say not that big of a crowd. There usually is some sort of crowd outside of the courthouse, maybe 10 or 15 people over there. They're kind of the same people who have been here since the start, really. People who are live streaming, like you and I are, talking about the case. Most of them just with their phones, or maybe they have a selfie stick of some sort. And then the bulk of the people really are up and down the row I'm on here, and even around the corner, other people who have cameras set up and lights, people doing live shots. I've actually seen a lot of who I believe are tourists, wearing the I Heart NY t-shirts, taking pictures of like me talking to you, Jesse. They'll be like, oh, there's a live report going on behind us. So mostly it's people who are like, hey, what's going on? Is there a verdict yet? So people are curious, but not a lot of commotion in the way of support for Diddy or support for Cassie. Not too much of that, but there's still time.
And I don't know if you know the answer to this question, but do we know if there is an announcement of a verdict, how long it's going to be till that verdict is read? 30 minutes, an hour, 15 minutes? Because I imagine when it's announced, oh my gosh, there's a verdict, the scene outside could change, and could change quite rapidly.
Oh, yeah. And I do just want to note for all of our viewers that are here, we are up. We are in our little tent. We have our lights and our camera, and we're ready to go. So if we ever hear the word that there is a verdict, we will be up. We will be up as soon as we can. So, I mean, keep watching, because you never really know when it's going to be, right? I know that Jesse's going to be glued to the chair at some point to make sure to share this news. We don't have it just yet. And to your question, Jesse, I don't know exactly. Generally, from the cases I've covered in the past, and you too, the bailiffs usually like to give media a heads up. I mean, if we're talking about our girl, Queen Elizabeth Milner, she's recognized by name and face inside. So I'm pretty confident that they would tell her, okay, Elizabeth, hey, we have half an hour till we're going to read the verdict, whatever. But I don't have an official number.
What's going on? Borny, I think that's your name. I see you on Twitch. What's going on? What is going on? I can see you.
time amount that they would let us know.
Okay, and I know you're going to keep up to date on what that jury note is. So as soon as we have more information, it could be quite telling. So we'll let everybody know. Want to bring back in Brian and Mauricio on this. So we have more more questions coming in. Brian, this is a question for you. This is from I Am Sydney Sexton. If this is a hung jury, will Diddy remain in jail, or can he file again to qualify for bail? As we know, he's famously denied bail
Good
multiple
question.
times leading up to this trial. What do you think?
Good question.
I think he will definitely file to be released on bail, and he's got some compelling arguments to be released. One of them being that the government put on its case and they were unable to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, and for that reason, let's release him. Let's leave him in custody in his home. All the arguments that he made before, but now with the idea that this isn't going to be a layup for the government. They've
All right, so let's do this real quick, y'all. Drop guilty or not guilty in the chat. As of right now, what do y'all think? Drop guilty or not guilty in the chat. Drop guilty or not guilty in the comments. Everybody comment guilty or not guilty. Comment guilty or not guilty. Let's go. Either guilty or not guilty. I need every single person. There's 500 people watching. I need 500 guilty or not guilty verdicts. Forget about 12 jurors. We got 500 jurors. Everybody watching, comment guilty or not guilty. Every single person watching, comment guilty, not guilty right now. Every single person watching, comment guilty or not guilty. Let's go.
already swung and missed and failed. And there could be compelling reasons, I think, for a judge to maybe who's already heard the case, who's got his own views of the case, to come to a different decision with respect to detention. So I would expect it. And it would get a little bit different scrutiny than it did the first time, for sure.
Well, I would say yes, that if he was acquitted of any of the charges, right? If they're hung on other ones, but he's acquitted of any of the charges, I would agree with you. There could be a change in circumstances regarding risk of flight, regarding danger to the community. If he's no longer facing, let's say, a racketeering charge, or he's no longer facing a sex trafficking charge, right? But if he's hung and there's no decision, couldn't the judge just say there's not a change in circumstance? He's still facing, unless, of course, the prosecution decides not to recharge him.
Sure, legally, the judge would be on all fours to deny a motion, but this motion I think would be better than the last couple they filed because of the hung jury, if in fact there is one.
All right, so let's see what y'all got so far. Not guilty, 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 not guilty, not guilty. Come on. Guilty, 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 guilty. Question mark. Guilty, guilty, not guilty, not guilty, 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 guilty. Looks like he's guilty. Not guilty, not guilty. No, you get views. What? Guilty, not guilty, not guilty. Irene says not guilty. Dre says not guilty. Looks like we got not guilty now. Guilty, 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 quilty. Not guilty. Guilty as fuck. Guilty on Rico. Guilty. Lock his ass up. Guilty. Aaron, there are jury notes. That means that the jurors have questions for the judge. And I guess he sent everybody back in there when they are deliberating. So the jury note is a question for the judge, possibly. Okay. He's guilty, but will be acquitted. Guilty. Guilty. He will find NG in some of them. Not guilty. Not guilty. Not guilty. Not guilty. Guilty as hell. Guilty. Quilty. Guilty. It looks like we got a split decision with our 500 jurors here. Guilty, guilty. I think it's more guilty. Guilty as hell, not guilty. See, the people saying guilty, they're saying guilty as hell. So that counts for 2 guilties. Guilty, but the case is fake and he'll get off. Can you do a new poll? I don't know how to do a poll, y'all. Sorry, I don't know how to do a poll. Filthy. Not guilty. Not guilty. Guilty. Shout out to Robert DeAndrea. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Appreciate you. Charles says, I never heard, excuse me. Charles says, I never heard of a jury giving prosecution or defense a note. Have you? I don't know. I'm not really into this. I'm into it because of Diddy, so I don't know. Guilty 1,000 times. Guilty as fuck this sick man. Guilty for RICO of trafficking. Cassie is and Mann Act. Not guilty. I don't know. It's not for me to decide. Guilty. All right. So I think we are, I don't know. I think we got more guilties than not guilty. So let's see what happens.
Okay, Mauricio, over to you. This goes to the heart of a question that I have had since the beginning of this whole saga. The question, of course, is, we got it I think it was last week, if Diddy had settled with Cassie before the lawsuit was filed, before it was made public, would we be here? Right? That's a fair question. Well, Nancy Nicole D asks, if Cassie had been married to Combs or had lived with him in California, thereby making her...
Well, you can't testify against your husband. So if Diddy would have married her, he definitely wouldn't be going through none of this shit. Because 1, she'd be happy, and 2, your wife can't testify against you.
Able to sue for alimony instead of the short-lived New York Victims Law, which is, I believe, the law that she had used to file the lawsuit against him in November of 2023, got everything going. Would Combs be here today? So if she was married to him in California and had, I guess, another legal avenue to sue him or collect money from him, although it doesn't change the fact that she probably could have still filed a lawsuit against him for these very same allegations. But you tell me where you stand on this.
Well, I mean, listen, whether or not she could have sued him for alimony, she sued him and she got $20 million. So we go back to the question that you posed, which is something that Brad has been pretty outspoken since the beginning of that he messed up in not resolving that case before it hit the media. And if he would have resolved that civil case, like he had the opportunity to do so prior to her filing it, a lot of the things that Cassie said would have been secretive. They could have come to an agreement. They could have had her sign a non-disclosure, agreement regarding the terms of that, but he didn't. And when that became public, that's when it started to snowball and everything started to click. And then the video of the 2016 attack came out, and that's when the federal prosecutors started to listen and pay attention to the case and really try and formulate how they were going to convict them. So I don't know whether or not if she would have been married to him would have made a difference, but for
excuse me, do you believe the jury will reach a verdict quickly? Yes, within a day or two. 64%. 36% say no, it will take several days. I am in the 36% camp. I think we've been talking about it, that it might take some time. Let me go to you, Brian, on this one. Debbie Phillips 176 asks, who protects all the witnesses if he walks?
If they're not already in witness protection, and the answer is nobody. The government's under no obligation to protect witnesses. And quite frankly, this isn't the kind of case where you would expect that kind of concern, at least coming directly from him. Now, fans and how crazy people react to these verdicts and acquittals and convictions, particularly in today's world. Obviously, everything is a danger. We see it day after day, but legally, nobody. If witnesses aren't testifying pursuant to some agreement where there's witness protection involved, then unless they've got the means, the local police and nobody.
By the way, just go back to you on this question, Brian. We have this note that we're waiting for. A note this early in the deliberations. What could it be, and what do you expect it won't be?
Well, sometimes it's well, I expect that it's not a verdict, and I expect that it's not a indication of them being hung in any way. I think what it probably is either a request for a clarification on an instruction, or perhaps to see an exhibit. I don't know what exhibits have gone out with the jury.
All right, so I just dropped the link. Somebody wants to come up and share their opinion on what's going on. So surprise witness is a comment, not facts, not legal advice. So if you want to come on my show and tell me what you think, I just dropped the link. It could be anybody, so pull up.
A lot of times, some of the first questions you got is, hey, could we see this tape? Could we see this text message? Could we see this particular document? And I suspect in this case, you're going to get a lot of those requests. But it also may be just a quick question about clarification of some.
So it might be a clarification question. This is a surprise witness. For some reason, she's on Twitter with Inner City Press. So I want to see what she got to say.
I am not even 11 and a half feet from the nearest federal mall.
Okay, she ain't talking about that. But shout out to a surprise witness. She's dope. She's just saying she's outside.
Some instruction that one or more of the jurors heard that they need to hear once again.
So, Mauricio, I want to ask you this because I'm going to be switching gears. I'm going to have Sierra Gillespie jump on. I got to go record a sidebar, and she's going to cover our anchoring here. But I want to ask you this. As we think about what the jury must be going through right now, and this is not to take away anything that they might be hearing or what they're considering. If the jury comes back with a question that signals to you a potential misunderstanding about the law, about what racketeering is, about what their duty is, about what deliberations are about, is that concerning? Is that concerning for the prosecution? Is that concerning for the defense? This is a very complicated case, even as an attorney who has gone through the filings.
All right, I'll drop the link to join. Somebody said they wanted to join. You got 5 minutes to pull up to the person who said they wanted to join the chat. I mean, to come on my live.
I sometimes have to remind myself about what the elements are and what the task is. If they come back with a question that's, arguably concerning about the law, what would you be thinking about it?
Well, listen, those questions are, they're the worst. Like, everybody gets so nervous, and you try and read so much because you really want to be that fly in the wall that you're talking about. You really want to get an inside idea of what the jurors are thinking, what the foreperson is thinking. But if they come back and they're confused regarding the law, then the judge is going to point them to the jury instructions. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what the jury instructions are there to do, to instruct the jury and to make sure that they're clear on the law, on the elements of the law, and on what they need to consider to either, acquit him or find them guilty of the different counts. So it's concerning. Now, if it's more concerning towards the prosecution or to the defense, the actual question is what's going to really determine who's more nervous, whether it's going to be the defense or whether it's going to be the prosecution, depending on the question.
All right, here's what we're going to do. Brian, Mauricio, stand by. I'm going to be jumping out. Okay, Sierra Gillespie is going to be jumping in. We're taking more of your questions. We will find out what this jury note is about. We are in verdict watch right now in the Sean Diddy Combs criminal trial.
All right, so somebody asked a question. Let me unshare the screen. All right. So somebody asked the question. So if I'm dating long distance and I fly my girlfriend to see me, is that trafficking? The answer is no, because she's your girlfriend. But if there's proof that you hit her up and the only or main reason why she's coming to see you is for sex, and you gave her money for sex as well as the plane ticket, is trafficking. So that's the answer to that. So I'm gonna go. I don't think this note is, according to what they said, I don't think this note is going to be the verdict. According to what they said, most likely this note is to ask a question as they deliberate. But I'm going to go live the second, because I'm gonna have everything ready. I'm gonna go live the second I hear something. All right. So I'm gonna come back on live the second I hear something. So make sure you're subscribed to my channel and make sure you have already hit the like button if you have not yet. I'm going to go live the second I hear something. All right. I'm at the house. I'm going live the second I hear something. But I got a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of computer work I got to do, and I don't want to just hold y'all hostage. So the second something happens, I'm going back live. So I'm at home, so I'll go live again. But right now, I got a whole bunch of shit to do, and I don't want to be sitting here doing computer work while y'all looking at me. All right. So have a good afternoon. Thank you so much. It was nice seeing your shiny. It was nice seeing you too, Magnum. I see you. So everybody, make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to hit the like button. And I will be back. But there's a possibility, according to what we're looking at, they're just passing notes and asking questions. And at this particular point, the note doesn't mean it's a verdict. The note means they're asking more questions. So they're in the back deliberating. So we'll see what happens. But like I said, I'm at home and I will go live the second it happens. So see y'all later, or see y'all in 20, 30 minutes. Oh, wait. Hey, you there?
Yeah. What's going on, my man?
I'm good. How you doing? I was about to go.
Yeah. I don't like to come on anybody's show with my mic on and the camera on.
Okay.
Usually they check in the back. They'll be like, "Who are you?" And then I'll turn it on.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, I can't get my light to come down on my camera.
It's cool. So what are your thoughts?
So what I'm thinking is I watched every single day of O.J. Simpson trial. Every single day. Back in the day. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. You know?
Right.
And by all these other people being in conspiracy with it, come on. They're guilty, right? But why are they not on trial? You know, I mean, there's more. He can't run the whole thing himself. It's impossible.
Christina Quorm helped him. And it's not a thing. Yeah. It's not a thing. This is not a mob. This is not a mafia.
Right.
So this is a.
But they're trying
all
to
you
make
need.
it that. They're trying to make it that.
They're not trying to make it that. This is literal prostitution. So it's a prostitution ring, and all it takes is a pimp, two hoes, and a bottom bitch. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah. Well, I mean.
So do you understand that this is not formulated like a mafia? This is formulated like a prostitution ring. And all you need is a pimp, a bottom bitch, and a couple hoes.
Right. But the reason they're going after the RICO Act is because that's how they got the mob. So they're trying.
Well, RICO works for anybody. RICO works for drug dealers.
It's their last resort to try to like really grab them. So
it's their first resort.
Well, it was because when it came into act back in the day, it was their way of having leverage. Like right now.
This is their first time doing this, so there's their first try to get Diddy.
Right.
Do you think Diddy is a victim?
In ways, I'm sure. I mean, you know, he's been changed into whoever he is because of where he is. You know, power.
Where is he? What do you mean?
Well, okay, so if you get to a level in life that you don't eat McDonald's for lunch, are you going back to eat McDonald's for lunch? No, you need to stay at that power. You know, you're not going to go backwards, so you're going to change. You're going to do whatever it takes to keep eating a different lunch, right?
Whoa, wait. We got some information. Give me one. Hold that thought.
Yeah, I got you.
The judge just said, just give me 1 second. The judge just said, we have received a note from the jury that will have a juror 25, who we believe cannot follow your instructions. I would like to meet with the court about it. Judge, I suggest I ask for more information. So I'm gonna read it again because I don't really understand. 1:27 p.m. So this just happened. The judge said, we have received a note from the jury that we have a juror 25. What the hell is juror 25? Is 25 of them? Is 12 of them? What the hell? Who we believe cannot follow your instructions. I would like to meet with the court about it. But go ahead. You're
Yeah, that's there's, you know, the old saying is 12 jurors, one judge, and a half a chance. So that's 12 jurors don't mean nothing in this world, because what he's got, the charges, reasonable doubt.
But why is it? Wait. The question: why is it jury 25? Maybe hold on. Maybe he's typing too fast and he typed in 25 instead of juror 2 or jury 5.
He might have been the 25th that they you know tried to see if he could be a juror. That might be his original number. You know what I'm saying? Like they had 100 people that they tested for a juror. That might have been his original number.
So Shannon said juror 25 is because it was an alternate, and then I guess you keep your juror number even though you're now part of the 12. But go ahead.
Yeah. So I believe, and this is just my opinion, I believe the prosecution brought enough you know, evidence to say reasonable doubt themselves. Wasn't much to prove because you can't prove it all. And the more they brought, that was like with OJ's trial, they pretty much turned it over. They couldn't handle that case because they didn't know how to prosecute. You know, it was such a big case that, and there was some bad things in it. I mean, there was, racism brought into it, which was obvious because they proved it. And, if you have a vendetta against somebody, it's going to come out, and that's basically, listen, I believe the world don't want him running music. They want to open up. So, and that's how it goes, You can stay on the top. Go ahead.
Wait, we got more information coming in.
Go right.
AUSA Comey, may we have a moment to digest what your honor has proposed? This is very sensitive. Combs, okay. Then Agna Fidio says, I suggest we just tell them it is early. You are just getting started. If there is a further issue, please let us know. Okay, so just like I thought, just like they said, these notes are just communication, and they're just communicating from the back. It's like sending somebody a text message. They just don't have phones.
I just can't believe they're passing the notes all around, because usually only the judge gets it. I mean, I don't understand why they're passing notes to P. Diddy. Why is he getting them? I just don't.
No, his defense is getting.
Right, but it's court stuff. It has nothing to do with. It's the jurors, in their hands. That's what he said, right? The judge said it is now in your hands. So
yeah, I don't know.
They shouldn't be putting out any notes that everybody else can get. That's just my opinion. That means there's something going on it's not closed doors. It's supposed to be closed doors. We're not supposed to know like right then. That's not how it works. So
I don't know.
There's more to it, and I believe when in doubt, Diddy walks out. And that's the way it's going to go.
When in doubt, Diddy walks out. Okay, that's what you think is going to happen?
Yeah, because there's plenty of doubt. All it takes is, did you think that he stepped on that floor? No, because they might have made a story that he did, but did he really do it? You know, and that's what it comes down. It's not easy to prove it to.
What about a bribery? It's proof that he bribed somebody. What about that?
Well, I mean, you're talking about the payoffs for his.
Yeah, that's literal bribery, and it was
every day. Happens
it was
every
in
day.
California.
Yeah.
Bribery is illegal. So
Yeah,
if
it
you
is.
bribe somebody and there's proof from multiple people that you bribe somebody to keep something from coming out, and it's in California, your ass doing 10 years.
Or was he blackmailed?
Was who blackmailed?
Diddy, was he blackmailed?
To do what?
To bribe somebody. Was something held against him, blackmailing him to have to pay?
That didn't come up, so why would you bring that up?
Because I'm saying there's two sides to everything. You know,
It's not two sides to everything. If you go in front of a court of law and talk under oath and said, he gave me this money and told me to do this or not to do this, unless somebody else comes up and says, no, he told you to, and he was in the room, then you will have a point. But we didn't hear the rest of it. No. All we heard was he paid me this money to not put his tape out.
Right, and it's what they want him to say, whoever that witness was. That's what the prosecution cut him off at. You say this, and that's all you say. You're not going to.
Okay,
speak.
look. Okay. Okay, we just gonna go back and forth in this circular.
You're good.
I don't think anything is gonna happen because now that I'm realizing what the note said, this is probably gonna last another few hours or a few days because they back there confused as hell because it literally says we maybe having a moment to digest what your honor has proposed. This was very sensitive and blah blah blah. It just looks like a whole bunch of shit and juror 25 or jury. So yeah, so I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
and I'll come back if something happens.
All right, my man. I appreciate you.
All right. Thank you so much, man, for being up here.
I subbed up too.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, y'all. I'm finna go because I don't think anything is going to happen. And like I said, I got a whole bunch of stuff I got to do. So I have to go. So I will come back. I'm at the house. I'm home. I'll just come back live in 5 minutes whenever it happens. So talk to y'all later. And I will be back if something happens because this is going to make history. And most of y'all said guilty. So he's guilty.
How about we meet up at a coffee shop and play this fun dating card game? We'll have fun and see if we're compatible all at the same time.
Ooh, what's the name of the game?
It's called Deeper Discussions.
I'm down.
Okay, meet you at 6.
Fellas, buy this card game. Ladies, buy this card game. Buy about 2 or 3 card games. The main reason why people can't stay together isn't because they don't like each other no more. It's actually because their present family issues come up or their past family issues come up. But when you play Deeper Discussions, you'll be able to understand a person's family issues up front.
This game can be played with either 2 people or an entire group. So have fun.
Question number 1. Name a time when money was the main factor why a relationship went bad.
Deeper Discussions Dating Edition. Again, these cards are good for vetting a potential boyfriend,
Candidate.
a potential girlfriend, a potential husband, a potential wife. The texture of these cards are so soft and silky, by the way. Like
They ain't gonna get
really
wore out.
durable.
A dating card game for introverts who have a hard time asking the much needed compatibility questions. Deeper Discussions, the card game.
Always wanted from your mother? Time, acknowledgement, and apology? What if I told What is something that you always wanted from your mother? Time, acknowledgement, and apology? What if I told you that all of your answers are in this card game?
What was the biggest thing missing in your life growing up? I would say I feel like you prioritized work over me a lot. My favorite question was, if you could parent me all over again, what would you change?
This card game actually helped my marriage, and the questions showed me that I still had unresolved issues with my mom, and I was taking them out on my husband.
This card game has a mother deck and a daughter deck, so we both have questions for each other.
These are some good questions. If you don't do anything else, buy this card game. You won't regret it. Click the link below.
Like the lights are